Hello, Mugs. It's us. We're back at it again.
Yeah, I forgot to tell Jane before we started recording, but she should stream her tier maker tab to me.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, no, we're. Listen.
We were bored and didn't want to do tier maker roulette, but we couldn't think of many other things to do. And then while Jane went to the toilet or something, I was like, "Oh, that could be a good one."
Yeah, we
So it's game
found
consoles.
this game consoles.
We're not
Uh,
gonna do all of them because what the fuck is the Fairchild Channel F?
I actually
Uh,
do kind of know what that is. I
yeah,
want to talk at least a tiny bit about all of these, with the exception of some of these are just like console revisions, and that's not anything that I can really comment on.
yeah. Should we
Like
change the
it.
tier names?
Um. Yes, but we'll do it as we go. Uh. So the Coleco Telstar Colortron is one of those really early video game consoles where they hadn't really quite figured out. There's a couple of these coming up where they had not really quite figured out what to do with the whole concept yet. I think the Colortron was like a Pong clone, if I'm not mistaken. So
Except, like,
that's
relative to the fact that Pong obviously isn't the first actual video game, like, who cares? We all know this.
yeah. So like,
Um,
I mean, I don't want to put it at the bottom tier, but
should we make a tier that's just unimportant?
uh I
That
think
seems.
actually, I think actually, like,
Well, okay, it's important.
mainly of historical interest.
Okay.
You know.
That's a tier that I think a lot of these early ones are gonna go in.
Yeah, no, that's
Um,
fine. Same with the
yeah.
Atari Pong, which just is Pong. I think
Yeah.
that's fair. Magnavox
Magnavox Odyssey, it
Odyssey.
has the thing of, oh, it's the first actual, like, just home console. The, like, cartridge based fucking,
Yeah,
you know. Is
we
it
can.
cartridges?
It was. Yeah, I think so. I think it was cartridges. If
I
you,
also don't think it has much to play.
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you that if you're like a big video game historian, this video will make you angry. But also, how the fuck did you find it? Um,
Yeah.
we can put this at like the top of the mainly of historical interest.
If we're
Uh,
tiering them, then we can put Pong above the Telstar
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
that's fair. The Atari
Atari
2600,
2600.
a thing that did have games. The main game I know for 2600 is Pitfall Harry because that is my mom's favorite platformer.
Hell yeah.
Or was that the
Um,
5200? Now I'm doubting myself because I don't actually remember which one came out when. It was
the
one of
thing is,
them.
the revisions for Atari are kind of like they're not really understood in the same way as like modern console generations. You know,
Yeah,
they're not
that's
actually
fair.
like huge leaps forward in that sense. We can probably just go ahead and drag the 7800 just here as well, knock them all out at
Is
the
that
same
on
time. The
here?
7800 is
Oh.
after the Game Watch. Yep.
Well, I mean, this is a different console generation, so isn't this going to be more of a competitor with the NES?
I
I
guess, but
honestly
then
don't know.
here's the thing, Jin. Name a single 7800 game.
That's a good point. And maybe we should just make a tier that's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
We
think the
can,
20. I'll be real. The 2600 is the main Atari that people have an opinion on. I kind of
yeah,
think the 5200 can also go
I don't
in.
know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's of historical interest. We know this. We may as well add her like tier below for the shit consoles already. By the way.
yeah, we can.
Um,
We'll figure it out.
yeah. This
Uh,
isn't bottom tier right now. It's just we've been lazy.
yeah,
2600, by the way, yeah, important console. The aesthetic is, I think, the main thing that people really like about the console nowadays. Not even the games, just
wait,
the
look.
system design.
Yeah.
People love it. Um,
Um, the
but the console
ColecoVision is the
gonna
first
kill the
one
industry.
on here where I have played a game for it and liked it. I believe there was a
Ooh,
ColecoVision port of Berserk. That is a good time. Berserk, of course.
not the manga.
No, not the manga. Berserk with the Z. You know, the ancestral like arena shooter game. So
Oh, wait, I
I'm
forgot that
like,
we were ordering of historical interest, by the way. I'll put the 2600 at the
oh
top.
yeah, no, absolutely, my bad. The ColecoVision, I'm actually like, if we put this in like Do we want to call it needs more development?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, emphasis for viewers, this is not even the middle tier right now. It's a work in progress.
I don't know who we're like protesting against that's going to get mad at us about our console rankings for like old consoles that no one who watches this channel was alive for the.
For that matter, I genuinely don't know if I've ever heard of the Fairchild channel.
I have. I want to say this was like. Was it like a really early computer too, or some weird shit like that? There's something weird about the channel F, but I forget what it is specifically. I don't remember, so this goes in I don't know. The GE Milton Bradley Vectrex is actually the first one where I'm gonna say the Vectrex kind of slapped.
Okay. I've never played one. I've never seen one in person. I know about the Vectrex. I know about its funny monitor. Am I correct in saying it brought the arcade experience home in a time when the arcade experience wasn't actually all that impressive just yet?
The main thing about the Vectrex, and it's in the name, is that unlike pretty much every other video game console, rather than being pixel-based, it was vector-based, which meant that you'd have like the images were made up of lines rather than dots, and you would have very high frame rates for the time.
Right, yeah, I'm remembering gameplay I've seen of them.
Which made everything look very smooth. There was hilariously a thing where, because the console only renders the lines in like the one color, so if you wanted the tint, if you wanted like a little bit of color in your Vectrex game, you had to sell like a plastic overlay with it to put on the
To be fair, that's how the
which is
fucking
awesome.
Magnavox Odyssey worked as well.
Yeah, it's I maybe, I don't know. But that's kind of a fun thing, I think. But I've played a couple of Vectrex games. There's actually a decent Vectrex emulator that I forget the name of that you can get a hold of pretty easily. You can get yourself situated with like Scramble, one of the first side-scrolling shooters. There's a pretty decent Asteroids port. There's some good stuff on the Vectrex. I'm like, I think the Vectrex
relative to what the tier list looks like right now, it's in A tier.
Yeah,
from the sounds of things.
Yeah,
which will probably we need to add like 4 fucking tiers above.
No, this is fine. Pretty good.
I think this might. You can maybe call that tier like fun for an afternoon or something.
Yeah, right.
Because you're not gonna.
Can I put an emoji in here? Because I want to put like a thumbs up in here.
Fucking. You actually can. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. I never knew that.
Yeah, there we go.
I never used the emoji keyboard ever, to be fair.
I do.
But
it's like my favorite thing.
Fair. In television, I always forget that Mattel made this.
Yeah. The Mattel and Television. I think there's also a port of Berserk for this, but other than that, I don't really know anything about it, honestly.
I'll admit, I have no opinions on this, even like relative to everything that showed up so far.
I think this and the ColecoVision are like really, they're like related in some way, which is why they both have Vision in the name, right? Or am I completely making that up?
I think you're making that up.
Okay.
Is the Television above the historical interest here? Like, yeah. I think they're above.
That can be in here somewhere.
I think it's above Colortron, below Pong.
Fair.
Yeah.
The Nintendo Game & Watch.
Weird to treat this as a video game console. Like, yeah, I guess.
Do they have the Tiger Electronic things in here too? They do.
Some of them.
Oh wait, no, that's the Gamecom.
Yeah.
They actually don't, which is weird because I would say that that's more similar to what this is.
Yeah. It's console. You know, they're kind of cheap. They just have like the one game on them generally.
Yeah.
They made some really interesting Game & Watches down the line when they started having like they're fucking Game & Watches with 2 screens and shit. But like,
it's a bit overly general. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it needs more development.
That's fair.
It's one of those things you could theoretically fun for an afternoon, because they are fun, they're cool, they're interesting, but this is an all-game consoles tier list, and I don't think in that sense.
Really counts, yeah.
Anyway, Commodore 64. This is kind of your first computer
yeah,
console,
like a
like one that
game,
you would
like a
identify
game.
as a PC. Yeah, or a
Actually, was
desktop.
the Commodore 64 was the computer, right? We're not. It wasn't one of those cases where it was like they stripped like the OS and well, not the OS, but like the other parts out and sold it as a console because there's a couple of those down.
No, I believe this one's pretty
Okay,
computery.
okay.
I might actually be thinking of the ZX Spectrum though. Now that I
The
think
ZX
about it.
Spectrum is the ZX Spectrum on here?
I don't know. ZX Spectrum absolutely is
All right,
like a
hold
fucking
on.
computer.
This one I'm actually like I'm gonna look this up.
All right, chat. We're doing the first Google to be absolutely sure what everybody knows. The Commodore 64.
8-bit computer. Yeah, no, okay.
Okay.
We were
Cool.
right. It was known for games. It's just strange to not have the Spectrum on here, unless I just don't see it.
I mean, it could be later, you know.
Maybe because the ZX Spectrum was absolutely also known for games.
Yeah.
But because you had the ZX Spectrum over in the UK, and then on this side of the pond we had the Commodore was kind of like the first gaming computer essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever played a Commodore 64 game? No, but you know, I know about it. You know, what are we thinking? Is this like a? Oh, what the fuck?
I don't know how that one happened.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we thinking like it needs more development, maybe? Or
Yeah.
I suspect it's actually fun for an afternoon,
For
but
that matter, I feel like we could maybe put the 2600 exclusively in fun for an afternoon as well.
okay. Yeah, I'm
not-
fine with that.
Not those other ones. Fuck them. But the 2600.
Yeah,
is like, you know,
let's try to be a little
that's the
more
thing.
fair. The
Yeah.
Nintendo Entertainment System is the first thing on here where I'm gonna be like, there's hit. The Nintendo has hits.
Yeah. I think this
Um,
is our you know, we need to add more tiers now because this
Yeah.
isn't just one tier above the rest. We're at least one more tier.
At above.
Yeah.
What
And
color
I think
do you want to make it?
I think worry about colors after because we're gonna have so
All
many.
right, that's fine. That's totally fair.
Yeah. With this selection, I think NES does go into S tier. The thing about NES,
Ooh,
like,
okay. That's
yeah,
fair,
I don't think it
actually.
I think there's that much of a gap, like, because we're gonna stumble upon some consoles that kind of suck.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the NES, it's
I'm
Say your
gonna
thing.
I'm gonna borrow an observation from a streamer I watch, Northern Land.
yeah, no,
Everyone knows this guy.
yeah,
Quite a while
Bald.
ago, he is bald. That's true. Quite a while ago, he made some comment along the lines of like the NES was like the first video game system where you'd actually want to play it, like play games on it like repeatedly, as opposed
Yeah.
to it just being like a thing you do like a couple times and then you're like, you know.
I wasn't
Which-
born when the console came out, but it's hard to imagine wanting to go home and play those other consoles. Whereas when I imagine
Which-
having like
yeah.
fucking Super Mario Bros. Free,
Yeah.
it's like I want to go home from school.
Yeah,
you know,
like I mean, like this is the distinction. The distinction I would draw, I think, is that like these other ones so far are fun in the same way that doing like a board game night with your family is fun. Like it's a good time, but it's not something you'd want to do often necessarily. I don't think.
yeah. No, I
Whereas the
understand that.
NES, this is when video games as like a hobby start to really become a thing. I think.
We're at the point where you know addiction starts. Playing NES is habit forming.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do we want to call the
But no.
S tier super?
Yeah. By the way, I don't think this will stay the highest tier.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
But you know, NES it's iconic for a reason. It saved the industry for a reason.
Yeah.
Marketing, and it still has a fucking banger library. It gets surpassed all the time, but like, especially the platforms like fucking Castlevania starts there, Contra starts there, Mario starts there. You've got 6 fucking Mega Man games that you can play.
Yeah.
Zelda's there
Zelda,
as well.
yeah.
Like
Also, some like it's also definitely the first thing on this list that I think
Tetris
of.
as well.
Pardon?
I said Kirby, Metroid, Tetris are all there too.
Yeah, it's definitely the first thing I think on this list. I think of as having like hidden gems. and I'm blanking on the fucking title of it, which is annoying the shit out of me. But there was this game that I learned about from Hardcore Gaming 101, I think, long-running video game journalism website.
Yeah.
Where you play as like a shape-shifting robot, and it's got like these alternating overworld sections and side-scrolling sections. It's like a really interesting kind of thing. It seemed like they were kind of going for like a sci-fi Zelda sort of vibe. But I played
It
that
doesn't sound familiar off the top of my head, but
for like a couple days, and I was like, this is like actually like way ahead of its time. And there's like a couple things like that for the NES. So I do think, yeah.
Some of the later NES games. I mean, a thing that's kind of easy to fall back on is comparing Mario 1 to Mario 3. Because that is like the type of leap that you usually need a new console generation to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mario 3, by the way, like one of the best platformers like ever. That game's insanely good. Yeah, I think that's where NES goes.
The Sega Master
System.
I'm going to leave this up to you, because I know virtually nothing about the SMS.
So, I'll admit that my Master System knowledge isn't actually that detailed. I'm not too familiar with the library beyond its Sonic games. The thing I understand with the Master System is it didn't really have that much of a library it could claim as its own before they also put the Mega Drive or Genesis out. And they continued to support the Master System after that point, but a lot of the Master System library is Genesis, like
downport, right?
Demakes is almost the word you would use nowadays. And I think in that regard, there's not a lot there. And I may be sleeping on some hidden gems. That's the thing. It's pretty hard to play every game on a console.
Yeah, unless it's like a real flop console where they only released like 20 games for it, which there's a couple of those on here later.
There's a surprisingly large amount, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's either top of Fun for an Afternoon or new. And the thing is, I think it's more likely new relative to the fact that it released...
I was thinking like needs more development almost, but okay.
You don't.
Here's what I know about the Master System.
Brazil loves
it. Some people think that the Master System Sonic games are like, some of them are like as good as the Genesis ones. Those are the two things. Trouble. Those are the two things I know about it. So to me, that's like Fun for an Afternoon. Maybe even needs more development.
I thought about it more, and because the thing is, right, in terms of what I would rather play between a Master System and all the things in Fun for an Afternoon or below, it is Master System, but relative to this tier list, I don't actually think it's like
here,
Yeah. Okay. Needs more development might even just be viable based on like needing more of a library that isn't just just play the Genesis version. Maybe top of needs more development.
Okay.
Which is deranged, I realize this.
The Atari Lynx. Okay,
so they're listing Lynx Gen 2 and the Lynx. Just put Gen 2 at the bottom of the list. We don't need to think about that.
Yeah, like there's some of these
Gen
that
1,
are...
I don't know.
That are just... I'm actually going to make a new tier list at the very bottom, and I want to be very clear that this is not a ruling on the quality of these consoles. It's just we don't have enough technical knowledge about like the distinctions between the different console revisions. So we're just putting them down here
at the bottom of the like physical fucking image selection just after Steam Link there.
Yeah, but then we're gonna have them at the bottom later, and it's gonna be ugly.
Okay. Well then,
the Lynx.
I kind of know not much about this.
A lot of the stuff for these more obscure consoles I'm pulling from Ashen's videos. because he has made videos about a lot of handheld consoles, especially. Um, I will say I've seen him play some cool looking Lynx games, especially there's this one where you're like in like you like control a fighter jet, and it's got very very pretty graphics for the time, especially for a handheld. Um, the Lynx was a Game Boy competitor, I believe, but it was like technologically like leaps and bounds ahead of what the Game Boy was doing. The problem was that it was
we're not at Game Gear yet, but that's kind of the same story
yeah,
there.
like the problem with the Lynx was that it was A, expensive, and B, chewed through batteries like nobody's business. I think you needed like I'm trying to remember. I think you needed 4 AA's to play it or something. It might have been more than that actually.
The Game Gear is 6, by the way.
Yeah, it was
which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
but we're not there yet.
Point being, ahead of its time, kind of appreciated more nowadays. I think. Also, there were a couple games where you played them vertically, which is wild.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's a cool feature. I think this is fun for an afternoon.
Yeah, I have no horse in that race.
We'll put it like
that's an Musume reference.
Hey.
So that's the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. We put that in dupes, then just did the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah,
I don't even think I realized there was a Mini for the TurboGrafx 16.
Minis go in dupes because it's just, we put like a tiny computer with an emulator on it with the console.
I feel like the only exception we're maybe going to run up against is the DS compared to the DS Lite, where it's like the DS Lite is such a fucking good revision that it's just kind of culturally supplanted the idea of the DS. But that's a problem for later. We'll come up against that when we come up against that. That's,
Yeah. Yeah, the Hudson Soft TurboGrafx 16.
Honestly, I have no opinion on it.
Is this... Yeah, this is like the Bonk's Adventure console, right? Hold on.
Is the TurboGrafx just on fucking...
The TurboGrafx is the one that I'm thinking of, right? Yeah.
I swear Bonk is on just like normal consoles as well.
The TurboGrafx was a normal console.
Yeah,
it was like it was like an SNES competitor, I think.
Yeah, but the 16 is because it's 16-bit, right?
Well, so it was a weird thing. No, it's coming back to me now. It's coming back to me. The TurboGrafx 16 had a 16-bit graphics thing, but the actual console is 8-bit, so it was kind of like weird and in between.
Okay, I'm pretty sure one of the Ataris that's about to... It's either the Lynx or the Jaguar claims to be 64-bit, but it's like 32-bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
it's
the Jaguar.
One of those then.
Yeah.
Right.
It's that sort of thing. But the thing about the TurboGrafx is that it got a lot of good shmups on it. I really like Blazing Lasers, which is for this system.
Right.
I really like... There's a couple good pinball games for the TurboGrafx. There's Devil Crush and Alien Crush, which are classics. People like Bonk's Adventure. There's some... This is like a high tier fun for an afternoon, I think, or maybe even new, because people
was just about to give you one of those based on what you said.
Yeah, like because
never played one myself.
Yeah, there were and are people who are like ride or die for the TurboGrafx. I'm not that deep into it, but I've played some and I've had a good time. So, yeah, what do we want to call a new tier? You want to call it Turbo?
We can call it Turbo for now. I don't know if that'll stick.
No, we need to come up with a better name, because we can't have both Super and Turbo and then one over the other. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay. Fucking fun for a week.
Okay.
Nice, son.
Yeah. The Game Boy...
the Game Boy Pocket goes in dupes.
Yeah,
that's just a smaller Game Boy. And here's the original Game Boy.
So
the Game Boy's a weird one.
The Game Boy... Here's the thing. Okay.
In fact, actually, before we even do that, can we go grab the Game Boy Color, which is on this, probably, and then
Do them together or something?
because we need to decide here and there, because the Game Boy Color is an increment. It can play every Game Boy game, but it also has like some
Well,
actual exclusives.
that's the
It's
thing, right? Is that I don't think this counts as dupes because there are Game Boy Color exclusive games
but
and a
there aren't
decent amount of them.
many.
No,
It's
there
not.
are. There's more than you
Mm,
think. You should
there's
check
a lot
like
of
a
like black
Wikipedia
boxes though,
list.
where they like work on both still. It's like a game that released, like Link's Awakening, fucking DX. It's like made for Game Boy
Hmm.
Color, but you can play on a Game Boy. It just doesn't work quite as well. Um, I don't know. Is it important enough to rate them separately?
I think
Is
so.
absolute. Yeah.
Like, here's my thing.
They're probably not going in different tiers. Is more of my angle.
They
Whatever
might.
tier they go in, I think. I don't know.
Like
I
here's the thing. Okay,
yeah.
The Game Boy is
Mhm.
the original portable console.
Yes.
You have Pokemon, you have Super Mario Land, like you've got good shit
Link's
on the Game
Awakening.
Boy. You got Link's Awakening.
Tetris was better selling on Game Boy
Tetris.
than it was on NES, and it's a good fucking game for.
Yeah.
I think your Game Boy has a lot of NES and even SNES. Like, I'll use the word demix again. It's objectively not what they are. Um, like there are Mega Man X games on the Game Boy. It's like that's weird.
Are any of them
Um,
good? I didn't know about that.
there's Mega Man Extreme, Mega Man Extreme 2. I think they're both okay, but they are kind of like they actually kind of just are demix. Um,
Hmm.
Although in Mega Man Extreme 2 you can play Zero, and I don't believe you had been able to play as Zero properly, and I can't remember in great detail. You know what came out on Game Boy? Fucking Shantae. And Shantae on Game Boy is like a crazy looking game for being on the fucking Game
Wasn't that a
Boy.
Game Boy Color game?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say because the original Game Boy could only do monochrome. That was like
Yes.
the whole thing. But I still am gonna say that we put it in Super because hugely influential. Every everything that was trying to compete with the Game Boy and everything that came after the Game Boy wanted that success.
I think I personally just prefer handhelds, or no, I prefer home consoles to handhelds to such a degree that I was considering Fun for a week.
That's
But then, yeah,
crazy.
because you said
Yeah.
what you were about to say, and I was like, actually, no, yeah, you're just right.
Yeah.
Um,
Like not over the NES, but
it's the color over the NES.
the
It might be.
color is interesting because it does have exclusives. It has more exclusives than most people remember, I think. But a lot of them are kind of like pseudo exclusives because there were a lot of oh, we ported this NES game or that NES game in color, or it's like a Pokemon Gen 2 thing where it's a sequel, but it's like a very incremental sequel, right? That kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
you do have your Shantaes and such to make up like a sort of interesting substrata of the library. I think this is
I
either
don't.
lower end of Super or upper end of Fun for a Week, which I'm kind of increasingly like. I don't really like this tier name, but we can talk about that separately.
Fun for a month.
I don't like fun for uh increment of time as a method for any of these
Afternoon.
other than
Afternoon,
afternoon.
yeah. I
Um,
think it goes in the same tier as the original Game Boy.
really?
Um,
Okay, that's fair.
to be fair, I don't know what sold better between the original and the color, by the way.
Uh,
'Cause
probably.
I think the original's design is more iconic because duh, but then I think a lot more people I knew had the color.
Yeah,
Like thing that didn't really come up by the way, but the color has like a sleeker, slimmer, lighter design. I don't know if this is true, but I think it is more battery efficient somehow.
I think that might be the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had, by the way, one of the mustard yellow Game Boy colors.
I have the clear purple one. The, like see-through transparent.
That's the one everybody. That's the one everybody wants nowadays. If I ever got a new one for some reason, I would want a yellow one because that's the kind that I had as a kid.
I bought the Lego Game Boy last week, and that thing is kind of fucking incredible. It's not on this tier list because it's not a video game console.
It's just a statue of one.
Yeah. Did we put it above the original? Maybe.
No, I think the original wins out on influence.
Okay. Right, Fun for a Week tier renamed. Yeah, okay.
We'll figure it out, okay?
Right. The Gen 2 SNES, your like top load or whatever the fuck, that's a dupe. Because there is no hardware differences, and then SNES.
The Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
God.
I think easily the best console that's been on here so far.
Yeah, it's kind of not even close either. Like,
hey, I just realized the fucking Philips CDI is next. We'll get to that.
Yeah, it's like, look, I said we need to do a bad tier at some point, okay?
My boy.
Yeah, the thing about the SNES is just like, my God, what a fucking step forward.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's one of those things, okay? At this point, arcades were really taking off, so people had seen some like really impressive games. And the Mega Drive had been out for 2 years, I believe, and also could do some similarly impressive shit. But when you think about, like, fucking... It's the library. It's Super Mario World fucking as, like, a launch title. It's the first 3 Mega Man X games. It's Link to the Past. It's Super Metroid. It's fucking Star Fox with the Super FX card. Chip, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like
the SNES was also like technically innovative.
Yeah,
I want to say it was the console that kind of codified the whole 4 buttons and a D-pad setup, right?
Oh, an SNES controller is just the standard.
Yeah,
every fucking modern controller is derived from the SNES controller
through the PlayStation DualShock, admittedly, but like there's we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the DualShock 1, by the way, before they fucking had the analog sticks added onto it, was just an SNES controller. Wasn't
the DualShock the one that they had the sticks on? Like, wasn't that
okay, like I might be getting your name wrong. PS1 controller, okay, before the sticks.
But anyway, the SNES, very technically innovative. Also, the first online gaming subscription. People don't remember that. Not online, but like
I know what you're talking
the
about.
Television thing, which is like a huge headache for preservationists because a lot of it is lost media now. But you know, it's a cool concept at least.
No, I think we're making our tier above Super now. I think it is that much of a step up.
Which, now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't really make sense. Okay, hold on. I have an idea. Okay, add a row.
I think we add like 2 or 3 rows above at this point, just so they're all there.
No, we add as needed. Okay, we don't need the. Here's the thing. We call that one Super. We call this one Entertainment System.
Okay. And I will have a tier called Nintendo at some point.
With no Nintendo consoles in it, just to fuck everybody over.
Yeah. Is the SNES maybe a tier above this?
No.
No, okay.
We haven't. We haven't.
It might come up later.
We need to.
Like crazy.
Yeah, like I do want to avoid just like artificial tier inflation. Like that'll.
Okay.
The Philips CDI
tier below, I don't know, called actually shit or something, or genuinely bad, whatever the fuck.
I'm old, okay. Let me have this.
Jen, I know.
The Philips CDI is a technical marvel that absolutely no one has ever played a game on and enjoyed themselves.
It's the best credit it has is the cultural legacy of the CDI Zelda games.
Yeah, that's literally it.
And Hotel Mario, but
Yeah.
that's not. This is a game console tier list. We're not giving points for that.
Yeah.
It is shit though. 32X also kind of shit. The thing about the 32X is
Sorry.
there was
okay.
just no. It's you're fine. There's
Really?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, no. On 32X is like. It's one of those things where when you actually imagine like having a fucking Genesis, like at the time of the console's prime, then paying to buy first of all a CD drive add-on, and it's like okay, great, this lets me play CD quality games. That's awesome. And then they do this other fucking thing for 32-bit games. It's like okay, my console's looking a bit bulky. Now, would it not have been easier to
The
just put out a new
power
console
of
instead of these
power.
fucking things? And the 32X. Genuinely, I think if not for Knuckles Chaotix, nobody would even know, like, what's... nobody would know what the 32X even, like, is or does. There's basically nothing for it.
So are we doing mainly
it's in my boy.
historical or my boy?
It's
Okay.
not even of it's genuinely barely even of any interest.
Okay.
The other
Sega
thing
CD.
about the 32X, by the way, just real quick, I think it came out, I think the Saturn had already launched or launched within a year. So it's even more like, why would you?
Yeah.
The
People
CD.
people often attribute. I just want to say people often attribute Sega stopping making game consoles to the quality of their games. I don't think that was a main factor at all. I think a lot of it was down to their weird fucking business practices. People have made this
Sega's-
observation before. I'm positive, but
They really like killed it with the Genesis in America and then killed themselves afterwards. There was the whole thing where the Saturn, like, I think it launched. Basically, they announced it was coming to US and then announced it was releasing like the same day or something. It might not be that extreme, but retailers weren't prepared. So
cool.
that just fucks them over.
Yeah.
The CD, by the way, it's basically, for our purposes, it's kind of like what the 32X was doing, but like better and more successful and slightly more of a library. But this is another case where I feel like people go to it for Sonic CD. I'm going to campaign mainly of historical interest
Fair.
because Sega CD and Night Trap, I believe is the name of the game, is the reason
I do
you
know
have...
Night Trap.
Yeah,
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 the
that's-
ESRB. Yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
forgot that was a Sega
Yeah.
CD game.
Otherwise, I don't actually think there's too much to the Sega CD that people care about.
The
Game
Game
Gear.
Gear.
Here's our battery fucking fiend. 6. Count them. 6 AA
Oh, let me
batteries.
just go ahead and put
Yeah,
these
those are
two.
dukes. Yeah. 6 AA batteries for like 2 hours of battery life or something. This thing, that's what kills them. Just more than anything else. Like,
Yeah.
the library is okay, but it's kind of just a portable master system.
Mhm.
I kind of just want to say needs more development and move on, honestly.
Fair. We don't need to have like a big long conversation about all of these. Some of these are just
Yeah.
like that.
Although Game Gear has Tails Adventure, the Metroidvania Tails game.
True.
Which is,
People
awesome.
like that one.
not really.
I'm gonna need you to hold the conversation for about. By which I mean I'm gonna need you to monologue for about a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. Jesus, I wasn't ready for that. Yeah, no, I need to finish Tails Adventure because I started to play for it in Sonic Origins and I got to a point in the level where I think I ran out of bombs, and because I was out of bombs, I wasn't able to like clear a shortcut to progress or something. Tails Adventure is a weird fucking game. I kind of like. It's one of those things where I kind of just find it so interesting conceptually that there is a solo Tales game that is like, I'm using the term Metroidvania. It's a puzzle platformer, with, I guess, collectibles that you can backtrack and achieve, which kind of is one of the things that people define a Metroidvania as being. It kind of is a Metroidvania, although it's level by level, which isn't really a standard. But look, interesting game to think about as being a thing that exists. Not actually that fun. I would kind of want them to like soft return to the concept weirdly. Like if, Shadow Generations did that good, Izuka said, "Oh, we'd be interested in, maybe doing more years of characters or giving characters more focus." A Tales spin-off that is, like almost a Tales Adventure 2 type of thing could be kind of fun. Um, you know, Theoretically, this would not be realized in the exact manner as I just described it, but whatever. James Britt, sit down so I can fucking talk again.
I've returned from the war.
Well done.
Alright. What did you monologue about?
Tales Adventure.
Cool, okay. That's
when
relevant.
with
That's
the opportunity
fine, yeah.
to yell at the camera, I just started talking about Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Genesis.
Genesis.
Here's the thing, okay? In his, one of his biggest hits, Biggie Smalls raps,
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was flat broke, I couldn't picture this. I feel like the two are inextricably linked in the popular consciousness.
I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this, because I don't know how much your autism for this era of gaming history comes up. It does for me.
We're both actually autistic, by the way. We can make these jokes.
Yeah, Sega had dominant market share over Nintendo during the Genesis era
I did know
for
this, actually,
a while. Yeah. The Genesis just is another thing where it was a really impressive console. It was ahead of its time in a lot of ways. It had a lot of limits compared to the Super Nintendo, but for which the developers were so good at playing around that you wouldn't even be able to tell. The classic thing is, like, I'm pretty sure Genesis can only do 256 colors on screen at once, might even be less, whereas Super Nintendo can do somewhere in the realm of like 1,000, maybe 1,024 or something.
1024 sounds right, yeah.
Yeah. It might even be that. It might be 64 for the Mega Drive and 256 for SNES. Point is, SNES can do a lot more colors. The two big marketing games in America, at least, were Super Mario World and Sonic 1. Sonic 1 is a much more colorful game than Mario World.
Really?
And
Hey, let me think about that.
Like, do it in mental side by side.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, you're actually right. It's just like I think of Super Mario World as being like a very like
it's bright.
It's a very bright game. But no, Sonic probably does have more like visual like variety now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, no, fair enough. I know a lot less about the Sega side of things in general. No, it's just like when I was a kid, my stepdad rigged up our Xbox with an Executor 2 chip. There's a fucking throwback for some of you. And one of the things that can do is it runs emulators, and it had an SNES emulator that worked like a dream, and a Genesis emulator that did not work at all. So
yeah, Genesis emulation was hard for the longest fucking time. It still isn't always fully there. The thing I forgot to say, by the way, if you go back to the top of the thing for a minute, I never had an SNES growing up. I actually never played on an SNES in person. Never had the controller either. I owned an NES as a kid. I owned a Game Boy Color as a kid. Otherwise, none of these consoles I had ever owned when I was younger.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think the only one of these the only one that I've done so far that we've done so far that I've actually played in person, so to speak, is a Game Boy Color.
Fair.
And if you want to count it with like with an asterisk, an SNES Mini. Actually, that's not true. My stepdad's cousin, there's a pair of relations for you, had an NES that he let me play when we visited the one time. So I have played an NES, but it was only like once or twice.
Fair.
This is so irrelevant. We're already like an hour into this video, by the way, and we're like nowhere near done.
I just brought that up to then preface that the Genesis, I was born in 2000, but the Genesis was one of my childhood consoles.
Yeah.
I have a lot of memories of mostly playing Sonic games on it, but also Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, shit like that. By the way, Genesis library is kind of fucking insane.
Yeah.
It still has a lot of the best beat 'em ups. It's in Super.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, yeah, we just want to
Nintendo.
put it right next to the SNES. Yeah.
We're kind of ordering tiers. I do like the Genesis more than Super Nintendo. I'm fine having it stay second in terms of
Yeah,
the Super Nintendo was certainly more influential.
I think the SNES has persisted a little more. Also, just like one of them's got to be in front of the other. So,
Yeah.
here's a thing for you. I don't know if the Neo Geo CD is dupes or not. I need to look up.
I don't know that I even I knew that it existed, but I didn't even really know that existed.
Okay, here's one for you. The system is the same platform as the cartridge-based Neo Geo released 4 years earlier, but converted to a cheaper format, and it retailed at $50 per title, compared to up to $300 per equivalent cartridge.
Does it also have the cartridge reader, by the way? Because it kind
of
looks like it does in that photo.
It doesn't. Maybe.
Let's see.
Doesn't seem like it.
It might not, to be fair.
The front.
Oh no, it doesn't. The thing that I saw on the back that I thought it's like fucking vents or cooling or shit.
Anyway, the main reason this is relevant is because it means we put the CD in dupes and we just talk about the Neo Geo, which I know a little bit about.
Honestly, I know little enough to put it in either INO or mainly of historical interest, because I don't know a lot about it.
Here's the thing. The Neo Geo as a home console was so pricey. I mean, you heard the $300 per cartridge thing just now. They were not, like, people didn't really have them super much. It was kind of a boutique console, which is a market that doesn't really exist anymore.
Although I'm correct in saying that they were effectively like the best arcade to home console conversions at the time,
that's
right?
what I was gonna say. Is they were made by SNK, like that SNK, and they had pretty much my understanding is like pretty much 1-to-1 conversions of fighting games was like the main draw, and it had a micro switched joystick in the controller, which is that's like unheard of even today. So it was like the console if you wanted to play really faithful conversions of fighting games at home. But again, it was super expensive, so people didn't really have them. And nowadays you can just emulate the arcades directly. So
also, it's like SNK are very good at porting their backlog. So
yeah. So it's
I don't even know if you need to emulate a lot.
I think this is mainly of historical interest, but it should be noted that it was a good console if you could afford one at the time.
Right, fair.
Atari Jaguar
CD
is another one where I need to look it up.
I think this is one where it's just kind of the Jaguar for our purposes. I forgot that
only 11 games were exclusive to the CD. I'm gonna go ahead and say that counts as dupes for our purposes.
I forgot about the Jaguar controller, by the way. We've not spoken a lot about the controllers because we're not yet at a point where controllers are just like really good.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull up a photograph of the Jaguar's controller for the people at home. Look at this fucking thing, everyone.
Yeah. Want to make a phone call on your Atari Jaguar?
Like, what's going on here? Like, it's almost... Part of me is like, they were almost onto something here, because if you think of those as like macro buttons or something, you can kind of see what they were going for.
Yeah,
but just like welded onto the rest of the controller as like a big old fucking slab is just not it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the regular Jaguar controller was like less insane looking. No, it's the same thing pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. The controller in the tier maker from
fair.
This is another one where I don't really know a lot about it, but I think
me neither.
Like the Jaguar, I think flopped hard.
Yeah,
anyway, and I don't think it really had any games that people cared about.
I do believe the Jaguar kind of killed Atari. I don't know the full history of the downfall there, but I know they were trying to you compete with like, because this was like a
Well, because at
weird
that point,
transitionary console, right? Like this was trying to compete with
64
the
was either about to come out or had
yeah
come out. PS1 might have been on the horizon. Saturn was there. Like, that's the generation of consoles it's competing in.
yeah.
And not many people can really name a lot of Jaguar games.
Like I mean, there's I can bring up a list. Like we've got like the Alien versus Predator FPS. Really? That's
Huh.
that was like a computer game, I think. So that's going to be a port. But like a lot of this
Yeah.
stuff is like I've never heard of this shit. Like
Without
oh,
knowing
actually,
a lot,
okay, Port of Raiden. That's something.
port though.
Yeah, that's a port. That was the other thing. Also, like not a lot of games for it, just in general. The official library included 50 games.
That's nothing.
Yeah, I think this is solidly like either needs more development or like actually my boy.
I kind of think when you're
When you're
when I look at
responsible for
what
bringing
needs,
down the company, that might be
yeah,
yeah
I think you're kind of my boy.
yeah.
N64. Oh my god.
This one's all
Um,
you. I haven't played basically no N64 games in my life.
this is just another thing where the N64 is a little bit weird because there are a couple like prominent at the time Nintendo franchises that didn't get games,
Mm-hmm.
such that to some people the first party output on this console is one of Nintendo's weaker selections. But then you can also say that and think like, okay, well Mario 64 is Mario 64. Mario Kart 64 bangs. You got your first Pokemon home console games with like Stadium. Everybody fucking loves Stadium. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask came out on it, so Star Fox 64 as well.
I am
Then
assured
you
that I
start.
would really like Majora's Mask. I need to get on that one of these days.
I can see that completely. And then you look at the third party stuff, and they weren't technically a third party dev at the time, but Rareware. The N64 was like the era where everybody was like, holy shit, these fucking Rare guys are like it. My god. Banjo Kazooie, fucking GoldenEye 64, Perfect Dark, like what a fucking team, you know?
Like
Um
I will say, GoldenEye I do know was kind of like pre Halo. That was like the console FPS. Like that was the
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Um.
yeah. Um,
So
console
yeah.
important distinction because yeah, home computers and Doom were already
Yeah,
taken
no,
away
of
the
course.
same
I mean,
water.
like, if we're
Um,
gonna talk about all that stuff when we get to the one there's a listing somewhere on here that's just a gaming computer.
yeah,
It's on here somewhere. We'll get to it.
yeah. Other fun thing about the N64, by the way, one of the first consoles where they put out a bunch of variants that were, cool and interesting. N64 has a lot of different colors available. There's like the clear plastic ones that everybody loves. I had one of those.
Hmm.
I gave it to a friend like an idiot, and then we fell out, and she still has it.
You should go
That
steal
was.
it.
I should. There's the fucking Pikachu one that everybody loves, by the way.
That I did know
Um,
about, yeah, with Ash on it.
Um,
Satoshi,
yeah,
our man.
yeah. I think it might just be Pikachu, to be fair.
I
Um,
thought Ash was on it too. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. That's fine. Go on.
Maybe. There are like games that Ash appears in.
Of course, yeah.
Not just like Yellow. I mean like fucking
Oh,
like anime
wasn't
character. Yeah,
was
yeah.
Pokemon Snap for this or the GameCube?
Pokemon Snap was on this. That's also true.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Pokemon spin-offs on it. Like How You Pikachu is a bit of a fucking shit game, but that's there.
Yeah.
Um,
So I
another
think we're
technologically
putting this in
impressive thing.
Super. Yeah.
It's
Like,
in Super.
easy.
I don't know if I want to put it above SNES or not because I think one of the big things that controller is a miss.
It's a design. Yeah.
Yeah, I see why they didn't stick
Also,
to it.
isn't the original Super Smash Brothers for this too?
Smash is also
Yeah.
that started on N64.
That's
Which
crazy.
yeah, it definitely belongs in the tier it's in. I think I was gonna say I think it has one of Nintendo's weaker first party libraries still, but like I just said all those fucking things it has,
Yeah.
which SNES might be. But then you go back to thinking of like, okay, well N64's third party library was also fucking ridiculous.
I
Yeah.
think it's fair where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. N64 I think. Okay, I realize I'm saying this at an inopportune time. I think for the most part, Nintendo are going to consistently ban on this
Yeah.
list.
With the notable exception of.
Yeah.
Dude, do you remember when we were watching the Direct like a month or two ago? And
That's what I was gonna
fucking
start talking
yeah,
about.
the fucking we're releasing Virtual Boy games for the fucking Switch too. Like, what are you talking about, man?
They Morbius did it.
Yeah, like
Virtual Boy. Like the thing about it, a couple of the games are kind of interesting.
I'm still reeling.
Yep,
I'm still reeling from the shock of seeing Tellero Boxer come up in a Nintendo Direct. The thing, the thing is this, right? There are people who defend the Virtual Boy's library. Pretty much nobody defends the console itself because the concept is just fundamentally very stupid. Like you have to put it on your head. And it's got this, like, awful eye-straining red and black.
The optimistic view
is
that it was ahead of its time, but...
Wait, wasn't it? Like, I mean, like, we have VR consoles now. Like, we have VR stuff now, but it's nothing like what the Virtual Boy was doing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say it was. Also, I mean, you can see in the photo, the Virtual Boy had a stand.
Yeah.
Like... You kind of have to sit down on like a table or something to play it, or like it.
Simply
Nintendo's
not
biggest
good.
failure for a reason. Sega Nomad, I don't know.
Isn't this just a portable Genesis essentially?
I don't know. I basically know nothing about this one.
I think the Nomad is essentially just a portable Genesis. Let me look that up. Because if it is, I think we can evaluate it on that basis. The Nomad is a portable version of the Sega Genesis home video console. There you go.
Does it just take, like, Genesis slots? Cartridges, rather?
Seems like it, yeah.
Oh my god, it completely...
Yeah.
Hold on, the Wikipedia photo for this is awesome.
Yeah, are you looking at the Mega Jet photo?
Yeah, with the fucking Dragon Ball game on top of it.
Yeah, let's just bring this up for our viewers at home super quick. Folks, this is like technically a different thing. I guess the Mega Jet was like a version of this for airplanes, but like, dude,
this is pain.
Images that go hard. Anyway,
I'll admit in the Mega Jet version where it doesn't have a screen, that is just a fucking... It's just a tiny Genesis.
Yeah, I'm actually realizing, like, I guess you just, like, run, like, a plug to somewhere, because I don't see how you play it
no, because the one in the
otherwise.
other photo is... Or something with an LCD.
Well, yeah, but the Nomad and the Jet are two different things, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. The Genesis Nomad still has a fucking... Like, okay, here's a close-up of a Nomad, where you can also see the cartridge slot on top.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So
but anyway...
I barely knew about this.
I mean, so the question is, how interesting to you is having a Genesis on the go?
Well, especially at the time, that is like, oh, but like I don't know how much, like how similar is this to the Game Gear? Is it a fucking battery monster as well?
Yes.
Like, yeah, I can see that. It's either I don't know, but we did our homework, or it needs more development.
I think this is firmly a needs more development. I'm looking at some of we're cheating a little bit because I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. Apparently, it's got like bad motion blur depending on the game.
Right, I can see that.
Terrible battery life. It's also one of the worst selling video game consoles of all time. Didn't know that.
I mean, that tracks. I think more people know about the Sega Pico than the Sega Nomad, to be fair.
The Saturn.
The Saturn.
I don't know a lot about the Saturn.
I know, like, some amount, but not loads. The thing about the Saturn is there's almost a tale. There's a tale of two Segas. Sega of Japan, Genesis flopped like fuck. Saturn was like hugely successful. Sega of America, Genesis was the fucking system. Basically, nobody bought a Saturn.
Yeah.
I think because the Saturn also one of the shortest lifespans for like many consoles.
I
just in
will
general,
say
'cause-
there is like one thing about this that is coming to mind, and I'm like, isn't this the console where Panzer Dragoon got its start?
I believe so.
It is.
Um,
Yeah, the original.
they're-
No, I'm absolutely positive the original Panzer
Well,
Dragoon.
well,
Saturn
my
game.
equivalent to that, by the way, is Nights into Dreams, which I just got my
Fair,
JP
yeah.
copy of today.
I will say, yeah,
Well, okay, because
we can get more into this when I get to the Dreamcast and Xbox entries, but
basically, I think a couple of interesting Sega IPs started on the Saturn, and it did well in Japan. I don't know how much library it has if you're not interested in fighting games and racing games. Because I think Virtua Fighter might have also started on the Saturn. Couple interesting, like, I think it's a good console for when people get nostalgic about like retro aesthetics and like early 3D stuff. Saturn's up there for that, but yeah, I actually think Tier 9 Pending is where it's going. Because the thing
Okay.
is, like, it still didn't have much of a library. There's not necessarily loads of reason. Yeah, okay.
which is true of like all of the things on the
Yeah.
list, by the way. So it's a terrible tier name, but whatever.
Mhm.
What about
I
like
want to play-
nostalgia bait? There we go.
That seems a lot meaner.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Okay.
I really
I'm
like the
interested in-
idea of a company like deliberately releasing a console that performs badly so they can sell like remakes of it in like 20 years. That's called playing the long game.
I would be interested in playing more Saturn games, to be fair, because it is an interesting system.
Fair.
But
Yeah.
the thing I was saying a second ago was like, I think the Saturn came out in like '96 in America, and the Dreamcast came out in like '98 or '99. So, not a lot of time
Yeah.
spent with the Saturn. Anyway, next up we have. Can we just
Neo
put?
Pocket Color, which I think is
I think it has more exclusives than the Neo Geo Pocket on its own. I feel like this is one where we put the Pocket in dupes and the Pocket Color as the main system that we're ranking. here.
Yeah. So I just double checked. The Pocket Color had like full backwards compatibility, and it seems like the Pocket Color sold better also. So yeah, I think that is what we're doing in this
Nice.
particular case.
The only game I've played for the Neo Geo Pocket Color, Jane, say it with me, you already know.
Sonic Pocket
Sonic
Adventure.
Pocket
Yeah,
Adventure.
the best
Yep.
Sonic game.
Apparently so.
I don't think that, but I do really like it.
It's-
The Neo Geo Pocket
Remember,
Color,
it's the
I had,
highest rated IGN Sonic game.
that's funny.
Yeah.
I had a phase a couple years ago where I got really into dicking around with the Pocket Color emulator, and I really liked what I played on it. There's Pocket Adventure, as mentioned. There's a
It's
lot
not
of
just
like
SNK's. like
chibi
arcade
fighter
hits.
games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those. Like not ports, but like we made like a full new title that has like the same feel as our console games for this system. Also, as far as I'm aware, the only other console with a micro switch joystick that is like a full like the thumbstick is like fully micro switch, which is crazy, and I imagine made the fighting games a lot better to experience.
Air. This one's pretty much on you, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
really have a
I'm
horse in this race.
I'm putting this up here. I think that's about where.
Yeah,
Like I'll yeah.
I'll give you that. Fair.
All right.
Put this one in dupes. Let's just rank the normal PlayStation.
Do we have any other PlayStation? No, these are all
Not
like,
PS1.
Other
There are only
other
yeah.
kinds of
PS1 is only the
PlayStation.
PS1
Yeah,
and
okay.
the Slim,
Yeah.
which they call the Giant, but it's the Slim. Here it is, folks. PlayStation enter the fucking market. We are
Yeah,
finally. Sega don't have much longer, but now Sony's here.
the
To
game has, in a very real sense, changed. And I didn't start that sentence intending it to be a pun, but when I realized it was about to be, you better believe I leaned into it on purpose.
yeah.
Anyway,
I haven't played many PS1 games myself. I had a
I
PS1 as a
have.
kid. My main source of nostalgia was Rayman,
Rayman's
but
pretty good.
it takes an idiot to fucking
Yeah,
not recognize what
like
this console is and did.
I will say I played the PlayStation less than a lot of kids my age because um I was very in love with my Game Boy Color around the same time. And then a couple,
Yeah.
like not that long after, my stepdad bought a Dreamcast, which we'll get to that in a minute. So the PlayStation One, I mainly think of it as Crash Bandicoot and 3D Frogger Machine. But
Valid.
I like Crash Bandicoot's a good time, and I am, as some know, the world's biggest 3D Frogger fan. I think
I
that
think
the
what
two PS1 Frogger games are actually just kind of incredible.
I don't know what magic Sony put in their fucking LSD when they were sending dev kits out with free LSD included. Is the bit I've decided to run with.
Yeah, okay, sure. Why
But
not?
for some fucking reason, despite yeah, it's one of those things. I was about to say, like, despite being this like untested thing by like a newcomer, the PlayStation had insane fucking third party support. But then you remember, like, it was still fucking Sony.
Yeah,
Like, even before they were into the console market, they were still one of the like tech
yeah.
companies, the
Like
giants.
outside
Fucking
of
all your
my
TVs, the
own,
Walkman
yeah,
already existed at
yeah.
this
Like
point. Like,
outside of my own personal experience, obviously you have Final Fantasy on here.
yeah,
You have a fuck ton of things
fuck
on
ton of Final Fantasies. Metal Gear Solid
Metal
gets
Gear
its entire
Solid.
start on this
Yeah.
console. Crash
Um,
Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon are
Spyro
there.
the Dragon.
Um,
Another one that I really liked that people don't remember too much anymore was the fucking Bugs Life PS1 game I was super into as a kid.
Jesus, I also
Yeah.
had that as a kid, by the
Fuck yeah.
way. That's a
You throw the fucking
unexpected shared
yeah, you throw the
moment.
fucking like upgraded homing berries to take out Thumper in the first stage. That's some good shit right there.
Yeah.
Um
Um,
I need to play that again sometime to see if that holds up. I suspect it does not, but you know. Also
there's a Mudboard video, and I watch because I'm also nostalgic for it.
yeah,
Um, mhm.
that would be a fun game to
Relevant to
do.
my interests, Xenogears came out on PS1.
Yeah.
Haven't played it yet. Oops, lol.
There's
But it's
just like
there.
a fuck ton of PS1 games that are really important. Like this is its generation's SNES, I
By
think.
the way, like Metroid already fucking taking off at this point. PS1 is what Symphony of the Night came out on, and that is where the Vadia part of Metroidvania really like takes off. A lot of people Symphony of the Night is the best. Like, it's in Super. It's absolutely in Super. We might need to make our tier above Super now. Um, I like SNES and Genesis more than the PS1, but
That's fair.
it's
I was just experimenting.
no, I was like
I
still saying it
actually
because I know
think
above.
I think this is fine.
Yeah.
I if
To be fair, we've got some real bangers coming
we
up as
do.
well.
Uh
Yeah,
the 3DO isn't one of them, I don't think. But I
I
will say good
this is
effort.
another I've heard of it, but whenever I heard of it, it was so long ago that I don't think I would be able to.
I don't
If you put me in a room and
remember.
told me to name as many game consoles as I could, I don't even think I would come up with 3DO.
Like I don't remember who said this. It went viral on Twitter like a year or two ago, I think. The 3DO was kind of the itch.io of its day. Which is
Provocative statement.
a very imperfect comparison for many, many reasons, but generally
It's
speaking,
is good for a start.
I mean, well, the 3DO has an interesting library, is kind of what people are getting at. Um, generally, just like dev kits were pretty inexpensive, and because they had like the 3DO had like a weird distributed manufacturing system going on. You didn't get a 3DO, you got like a 3DO made by such and such a company, and there were like 2 or 3 different models going around that were all the same on the inside but slightly different on the outside.
That is unusual.
Yeah. It was a noble experiment, I think, is kind of the consensus people have reached for the 3DO over the years. A lot of very weird games for the 3DO. One of the earlier like open world games was for the 3DO, and it was this bizarre fucking like cyberpunk thing where you would like you would like fly around this like desolate landscape, and you had to like fight NPCs who had like they were like ranked. I'm actually gonna look this up because I can't remember the title, and it's bothering me that I can't remember the title. List of 3DO games. Is it Immercenary? I believe so, yeah. Immercenary is what I'm thinking of.
That sounds like what that game would be called.
Yeah. Very, very bizarre FPS open world thing. A lot of games like that were like not well received at the time, but were kind of innovative in some way. I think this is like
based on that
like somewhere
description,
up here.
it sounds needs more development or fun for an afternoon.
Yeah, I think like
I almost feel like needs more development might be more accurate for its cultural position. Needs more people to be made aware of it.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, fair.
The Tiger Gamecom.
My goat.
Gamecom.
I can't remember if this has a Sonic game on it or not.
I believe it does. It's got like a really bad Sonic game, I think.
I think Sonic Jam is on the Gamecom. Not Sonic Jam, the Saturn compilation. Sonic Jam, the fucking black and white shitty platform with like fucking yeah. Gamecom seems kind of a meme.
Like
I think this isn't my boy, right?
Absolutely. Tiger Electronics are mostly known for like cheapo handheld games that are more similar to the Game & Watch than anything else we've talked about on this list.
Yeah.
But much worse. They tried to make a Game Boy competitor, essentially, and it did not work out for them. It's the short version of the... I think there were like 20 games or something released for the system, and most of them, I think, are considered to be like terrible. So that is
Sonic Jam is maybe
my
the
boy
worst Sonic
territory.
game.
Immediately after that, we have the Microsoft Xbox.
Another similar thing to PS1.
I'm actually like...
enters the scene.
Hold on.
Does a pretty good job.
Hold on. Can I rearrange this a little bit? Because I think I want to talk about the Dreamcast first.
Yeah, okay. The Dreamcast,
for
I think,
obvious reasons, I think.
I mean, it came out first.
Yeah. So,
Dreamcast.
The thing with the Dreamcast. As I said, my stepfather bought a Dreamcast when I was a kid. Sonic Adventure on there. Hydro Thunder on there. Many classics, both things that I have played and things that I haven't. It was famously Sega's like last attempt at making an actual console. Most of the innovative and interesting things that the Dreamcast did, the Xbox kind of picked up the ball from where they left off. Is sort of the interesting relationship between those two consoles, even though they're not the same company.
It's just an easy way to thread a needle.
Yeah.
Historically.
And I am very fond of both of these consoles. The Dreamcast, I do think, suffers a little bit from having a smaller library. And also the fact that like there were a lot of like weird like little peripherals for the Dreamcast, which is not a problem, but if you already have a small library, it doesn't help. You know what I mean?
It's a weird system because it came out in 1998 in Japan, if I recall correctly. Which, when you think about the N64 having released in like 95, 96 or something,
Mm.
the Dreamcast is a crazy step up. One of the last like huge graphical leaps, um, which becomes more evident with the later games in the system's life.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but the thing with the Dreamcast is it is the ahead of its time console. Like
Yeah.
fucking full internet connection, fucking DLC.
Yep. Yep.
Like bunch of social features. The VMU was there. There's a little Tamagotchi in your computer if you want. Not your computer, your controller.
Your console, yeah.
Yeah, bunch of interesting, kind of esoteric, interesting games. Entertainment system seems fine, maybe Super as well. It's another. A lot of my. There are a lot of really good, really interesting games. Sonic Adventure 2 is one of my favorite games. It's on Dreamcast. It's in Super. Let's be real. Like it's one of those things where there's a lot wrong with it. There's a lot flawed about the system. There's a lot it didn't get to do.
Mm-hmm.
Third-party support was really falling off at that point. The controller's a bit fucking goofy. I don't think people really cared for the VMU. The wire comes at the bottom of the controller for some reason.
Yeah, that's the thing that they don't do anymore.
Yeah. Well, they don't usually do controller wires, silly.
You can still buy wired controllers.
You can. Also, they just have like a fucking USB slot to charge them, obviously.
I have my 8-bit though plugged in right now.
Mm-hmm. Dreamcast is another one I want to play more games for, by the way, because my main familiarity, as with a lot of things, I interface with them from Sonic the Hedgehog. What Sonic games are available?
Adventure and Adventure 2, and I think some other stuff also, right?
Shuffle is the one other Sonic game.
Yes. So I have planted an evil seed here that I am now going to nurture into a wicked plant. The reason I wanted to do the Dreamcast first is because there was a particular video game for the Dreamcast, Panzer Dragoon Orta, that received a essentially port more than a remake on the Xbox. And this is why the two are connected, at least in my mind. Panzer Dragoon Orta is maybe my favorite video game. It's a rail shooter, but it has these just absolutely fucking gorgeous environments and a very like esoteric but interesting story. I played this game when I was like 10 tops. And it has, I think, pretty definitively continued to shape my aesthetic preferences up to the present day and like what I value in storytelling and just media in general. So I would rank the Xbox very highly for that alone, if not if it was like a failure of a console, which of course it was not, because this is also the console that had Halo and Mech Assault and about 1 trillion other games that people were really into. It as you said earlier, it's kind of the Sony thing again of like new competitor entering the market and they smash
shove a bunch of LSD in the dev kits.
Yeah, and they smash it. They
One of the big companies.
One of the launch titles.
Fucking Windows is
one of the launch titles. Famously, Blake's the Time Sweeper. My goat.
Is the word you want to use?
I mean, people know about it if they know Xbox stuff. I really like Blake's the Time Sweeper. That game is.
Never played it.
That game is.
Never played an original Xbox. Or held the controller.
That's crazy.
I know, it's wild.
I'm trying to think of like, is there some way I can get you an original Xbox? There isn't. If there was, I would do it for myself. Anyway,
yeah, that would be easier than shipping it out to me.
Yeah,
I'll play Panzer Dragoon Orta at some point.
Dude, it's like genuinely like a gorgeous work of art. Anyway, Halo obviously is like the big thing people remember from this console, but there were a lot of games for the Xbox. A lot of, like, in addition to the big hits, there was a lot of like weird stuff too.
Xbox is another real hidden gem console
Yeah,
where
yeah,
there are just hidden gems on there.
yeah.
I don't think it's a console where there are too many big hitters right out the gate. But that makes the hidden gems, as it were, like just kind of stand out to a lot of
Also, I
people.
think Pac-Man World was a Xbox
I
game, or
think
at
that
least there was like a version of it for that.
that's
This is
on
irrelevant, but
GameCube. See, that might be on Xbox. I don't fucking know.
I'm
There
just
are a
like
couple
flipping
versions
through.
of Sonic games on the Xbox. These are generally the worst versions of
Yeah,
those
you
games,
know.
though.
Yeah.
Um, it's alright.
Yo, hey, Josh. Should I emulate? Should I attempt to emulate on the Xbox Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships a
Yes,
horse racing simulator released for the original Xbox?
obviously. Tell everybody that you're playing the new Uma Musume update, and it looks a bit weird.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just trying to go through here. Like, Burnout was Xbox.
oh yeah, that started there.
Burnout was huge for a while.
Yeah,
Spy Hunter was continued on the Xbox after many years as like a dormant franchise. Doom 3, which people don't remember, people were real hyped through the fucking moon for Doom 3. Um, there was a lot of shit. I realize it's such a cop out, but like there was a lot of stuff for the Xbox. In addition to like the things that were just for the Xbox, a lot of interesting ports, which if you want to count that, it's kind of up in the
yeah.
air. But yeah, no, Halo 2 was kind of like the real big ones. They announced another Halo 1 remake recently, and I'm like,
Is it just Halo 1 or is it.
it's just the first game.
Okay, because it's Halo Campaign Evolved, so I know it's pure single player
Yeah,
focused, so I
I'm
thought they
just
might be
like,
throwing some of the other ones in there, but whatever.
y'all need to, y'all need to let,
Make new games.
y'all need to let Master Chief rest in peace. Anyway, we don't need to get into my Halo bitching here. That could be like another 2 hours.
It goes with Super.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to put it there unilaterally, but fair. The Game Boy Advance, I think, is like also super.
I need to stop watching and start watching stream because it's having a struggle. Um, okay, it's fine now. It's cool. Yeah, okay.
Yay!
By the way, put the SP beside the Game Boy Advance just for now, and then we'll decide if it's going in dupes or not.
Your microphone has no signal? What?
Me?
No, hold on. That's clearly not true. I can see it recording. That's
Huh.
strange.
I mean, and
Huh.
you can hear me, and I can hear
Yeah, I
you.
can hear, like, I see the meter going.
And do you see
um
the meter going when I talk?
yeah, no,
Maybe.
I see both of
Okay.
our meters. That's very strange.
Let's just ignore it then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
If there's no audio in this video, I'll kill myself.
Hey, this has been fun either way.
Yeah.
Let's put the SP beside the Game Boy Advance and decide if the dramatically different form factor and proper backlight are enough to constitute dupe or not.
So,
There are no exclusive games for the SP.
like, they're not. I think if you want to, in your mind palace, just imagine that wherever we put that GBA, we put the SP like one slot ahead of it because it's like a better form factor. You can do
The
that
reason
on
form
your
factor
own.
matters for handhelds and not consoles is obviously because you hold them.
Yeah, that's
Nobody gives a
literally
shit about your
it.
fucking PS1 Slim being
Yeah.
a slim PS1. Wow, crazy. But okay, that's fine. Just put the SP in dupes. That's even the SP sold better than the normal version, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll rate the normal version. Game Boy Advance, another console that just like the fucking library is just kind of ridiculous. Um, Bunch of fucking interesting first party titles from Nintendo. Pokemon Gen 3, which for a lot of people, best generation of Pokemon. Fire Red Leaf Green show up there as well, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Bunch of spin offs while you're still in Pokemon. First Sonic game on a Nintendo system with Sonic Advance.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, popular. A lot of people think it's Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for GameCube, but no, Advance came out first. Um, so there's my I get to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog for a console again. Um, Fully backwards compatible with the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, which not backwards compatibility isn't really like a standard for a lot of these systems up to this point.
Yeah.
Um, so it's notable when it shows up. Um, Start with a bunch of like interesting RPG franchises and shit like that. By the way, fucking Golden Sun started on the Game Boy
Oh,
Advance.
Josh, you said the magic words. We're gonna get a bunch of people from like something awful in our comments now. Do people know that?
RPG?
Do people know that Golden Sun has this reputation anymore? Am I making a reference for nobody?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'll admit.
It just for a while there was like you know how people are about Cowboy Bebop and anime. People were the
Yeah.
same way about Golden Sun and JRPGs. I'm just like, oh, it's like
Huh.
the only good one, and it's just like it's like a whole thing.
Was not aware
Anyway,
of that.
it's
Huh?
a good game.
Yeah.
So like
A couple Fire Emblems there as well.
I'm literally just talking shit for no reason. So like, don't even worry about it.
I think GBA, by the way, is when this console generation, like right at the start of early 2000s, both consoles and handhelds, is where licensed games start really taking off.
Mm.
So there's a lot of movie games for the
A
Game
fair
Boy
amount of
Advance.
shovelware for this and like the PS1 and yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I think there is the Simpsons game on Game Boy Advance. I can't remember
I don't
because it's
think
on
so.
a lot.
I will say, Simpsons Hit and Run is another Xbox title.
Yeah, that's true. It's also on PS2.
Yeah, but
Um,
you know.
yeah, it's there. It's there. Um, Game Boy Advance is another. It's either in like the second highest tier or the highest tier. Um,
I think maybe we need to cut this
it's
up
one of
into
those
two
like
tiers
Super
finally.
feels big, but then you kind of remember that there are.
There are a lot of good video game consoles. Is the thing.
Yeah.
We're not really
Um,
ranking these either at this point. It's just like they're
oh yeah, they're
you
just
know.
going in there, and we're just accepting it.
All
Yeah, I
right,
think that seems fine to me.
Josh,
GameCube.
I'm gonna need you to talk about the GameCube for about a minute again. Go.
Okay. Um, the GameCube. Very interesting thing. This is kind of a known thing at this point, but at the time of its release, GameCube was positioned in a weird way because it was actually the most powerful fucking one. It was stronger than the Xbox and the PS2, but it really lost third-party support compared to those other consoles, and even like, I mean, Rare was bought out by Xbox like during the GameCube era. That's an example of like a Nintendo development team being lost, which like hurt them, you know. And Nintendo famously like fucking they didn't launch it with a new Mario game. They launched it with Luigi's Mansion. People weren't really feeling that. The new Zelda game was Wind Waker. At the time, like that wasn't what people wanted to see at all. Um, and I think with things like that, the GameCube just kind of it was a flop. Like it wasn't a complete flop, but it really didn't do as well as they wanted it to do. Series like Star Fox didn't even get fucking. You got Star Fox Adventures. Like people weren't really feeling that. Um, I think it's one of those things where the GameCube is, for all intents and purposes,
Hello.
hello.
Have we
The thing
mentioned the Exhibit Pimp My Ride episode where they put GameCubes in the backseat of the car?
No, we haven't.
All right, just
Thank you for
wanted to bring
covering
that
that
up.
for us. The G6 PLDR right now is it was stronger than everything else on the market, but it came at a bad time for Nintendo. They didn't have as much third party support as they wanted. Microsoft bought Rare. They didn't launch it with a Mario game. They launched it with Luigi's Mansion. They didn't launch it with a sequel to Ocarina of Time everybody wanted, taking Zelda in a new realistic direction. They launched it with Wind Waker. Um, the GameCube is a real example of a console where time has been very kind to it, though.
Hmm.
Because while it just
Fair.
didn't do that well when it came out, nowadays, for a lot of people, the GameCube was the Nintendo console. Like, the thing about this type of deal is just like, yeah, technically the Wii is an objectively better GameCube because it does everything a GameCube does, and it's also a Wii. But the GameCube, you know, look at that color, look at that controller, look at the handle on the back for if you want to bring your GameCube somewhere, I guess. It had an interesting library. There were interesting third-party titles later down the line. I think nowadays a lot of... Relative to the consoles of that era, the GameCube is the one that has become the most expensive.
That's an interesting
in its games as well.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Which is
But-
partially just because it was the one that sold the worst, but like...
Do we think S or ES, I suppose, is my question.
I love the GameCube. I love a lot of the games that are on the GameCube. I think this might be an ES in terms
Fair.
of... It's one of those things like, yeah, okay, the thing is, realistically, if you go up to me and say, would I rather have a GameCube or a PS1, I'll take a GameCube. I am more interested in the PS1 library than the... No, I'm not. I'm more interested in the GameCube library than the PS1 library, blah, 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 blah. It's got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, best game ever made. But thinking about it in terms of the gaming industry, impact, how it's seen nowadays, like, the GameCube is good. It's better than the Dreamcast. But
Whoa. Claims
is.
being
I said
made
it.
here. Okay.
I think it, you know, I think it needed to be positioned
Well, okay.
a little bit differently than
Let me
did.
ask you a question. If it's better than the Dreamcast, we want to drag the Dreamcast down to Entertainment System. I think that's fair.
See, that is kind of fair, but at the same time, we had our whole Dreamcast was ahead of its time bit,
Yeah, but you know,
and I think there's merit. We can drag it down.
yeah. I think that's fair. Like we're trying to evaluate these on a broad combination of factors.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
the
well,
Nokia
yeah,
N-Gage.
my
Ah,
boy,
the
I
talking taco. Yes.
There is a Sonic game for this as well.
Ah, gosh.
It's an educational game, by the way. No, it's not. It's a fucking port of Sonic Advance, but cropped badly.
Gosh.
Yes.
My mother asked, "Did you do the dishes?" I replied, "Sonic in the years 2002 to 2012." She knew they were watched.
Right, I'm gonna kill you for that one.
I'm sorry, I don't mean it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it says my boy. Nice. PlayStation 2 Slim goes into it. PlayStation 2, I think we're making our tier above Super.
Really? Okay.
It's the console. That's the thing. I don't even like it as much as the things that are in Super, but
So
it's the best selling of all time for a reason. PS2 has, like,
okay.
a couple thousand games. It's ridiculous how fucking supported that console is.
Huh.
PS1 took a while to put its, like, fucking analog stick controllers out. In that time, PS2 controller became the controller. Because I believe it launched before GameCube and Xbox One. Not Xbox One, Xbox, the first one. I don't think you get 160 million plus sales out of nothing, though. Like,
Look, that's totally fair. I admit I have a huge blind spot here because I never had a PS2 or a PS3.
I did.
So I just like rattle off some games that you liked for me if you could.
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. Fucking Sonic Heroes. There you go.
Oh, I mean, it's a good game.
My Sonic games are, covered. But no, PS2, like, because you got a bunch of Final Fantasy stuff. Kingdom Hearts started on the PS2. Huge fucking franchise at this point. Bunch of interesting
Alright.
fighting games.
So here's what I'm just gonna
Metal
say.
Gear.
To Josh's point, I just looked it up. The Wikipedia list for list of games for the PS2 is so long that they had to break it up by letter.
Yeah.
Like
Also, I
they're
forgot
separate pages.
we haven't mentioned GTA as a franchise that's kicking about at this point in time, by the way.
Yeah,
San Andreas is there, Gran Turismo, Metal Gear Solid 2, Final Fantasy X, Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Quest, God of War, Tekken, Madden, Jak and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot.
Can I be honest with you? I'm literally
looking
looking at this and I'm like, is it hard to emulate a PS2 these days? Because I'm like,
I think it's not that hard, Jen. I think you might be fine.
Yeah, I might
Ratchet
like.
and Clank is the series I was trying to think of.
Ratchet and Clank. I had a friend in high school who was a huge Ratchet and Clank stan.
Tony Hawk's Underground, Pro Skater games are here. Fucking Lego Star Wars, that's a banger.
Oh yeah, like the Tony Hawk games are just like an omnipresence throughout this whole generation of video games. Tony Hawk games fucking slap, dude. Like I will. I don't want to say they've become a little underrated with time, but I do kind of feel that way weirdly. Like there's definitely there's a nostalgia for them, so not really. But there is.
We're also at the point where,
I think it's one of those things where if you introduce it to people who are a bit younger than us, they're like, I don't really get it. You know?
Yeah. No, that's fair. We're also at a point, by the way, where like fucking Silent Hill and Resident Evil are really taking off.
You've talked me into it.
Also,
let me see something.
One of the reasons the PS2 sold so well, it was an affordable DVD player.
That is another thing. Yeah.
And honestly, that matters. That really does. Like, especially in its era, like, because suddenly the PS2 wasn't just like the console; it was the entertainment center. You know, you got a PS2, you're like, great, I have a PS2. Your parents get you like a fucking Pokemon movie on DVD for your birthday or something. You're watching it on your PS2.
Yeah,
you know, it's like holy fuck. Pokemon's on PlayStation, Jane.
Yeah.
Nice, sure. It'll be funny when we put, like the Switch in that tier.
Yeah. Here's the thing, okay? Game came out literally like a couple days ago called Full Metal Schoolgirl. I haven't played it. Supposedly, it's very good if you're a certain kind of person.
Awesome, admittedly.
Yeah. It got hit with the oh, it looks like a PS2 game criticism by a lot of like early reviewers. And I saw a really funny Blue Sky post that was like, the PlayStation 2 was the best console of all time because the more years that pass since it was released, the more people say it can do. So it just keeps getting more and more powerful in retrospect. The PlayStation 2 in 2025 is, blows the PlayStation 2 in 2002 out of the water.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
To be fair. But no, it was it was just fucking impressive. That's the thing.
Fair. No, absolutely fair. I might push to put the 360 up in this tier, by the way.
Well, we're about to get there.
Yeah.
Because I might agree. Let's scroll down, for that matter.
Yeah, no, let's absolutely. Oh, the 360. Let's toss all these in dupes.
Dupes. Yeah. Realistically, the Gen 2 is the 360 that you should care about because this one's the Red Ring. But shut up.
I actually had a launch 360, and that never happened to it. Eventually,
lucky you.
Eventually, what killed it was my younger brother when he was real little. My youngest brother put a bunch of pennies in the disc slot. Same way he killed our Wii, which we'll get to in a bit.
Fuck, what a bastard. Anyway.
The Xbox 360, before I had a gaming computer, was like the everything console, in my opinion.
I mean, like, because here's the thing, it also could play DVDs. Great. I can't remember if it could play CDs, but the thing is, it had a music player anyway.
Yeah.
This is where internet connection and console starts, like, taking off. This is where the fucking Xbox Live Arcade, or whatever the fuck, starts. You're now buying digital games for your consoles. And we can talk about how that might have definitely had an adverse effect on the industry. But at the time...
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No, I could... I was in high school during the height of 360 mania, as I will and I got a weekly allowance, and sometimes I would just like instead of using that for what I was supposed to do, which was getting food at school, I would
Yeah.
just save a couple, like I would skip a couple lunches and buy like a Xbox 360 gift card
No, that's
and
best.
buy myself something off of the Xbox Live Marketplace.
I respect that.
Um,
Xbox Live Marketplace was also like it was supported very well, and it had a lot of retro titles.
yeah,
So it became a thing of like all of a sudden you don't even need to care about backwards compatibility because you can buy Sonic Adventure, for example,
yeah,
just on Xbox Live Arcade for like $10 or
yeah,
something
just
less.
yeah, just
Um,
do it.
like it's also the era where online gaming really took off because it was
Yeah.
supported by previous consoles. But this is the, you know, you're in the Call of Duty lobby and they're calling you slurs console. And while you're
I
doing
will
that, you're
say,
playing like your fucking
I
Linkin
will
Park through the
say,
Xbox like
yeah,
audio thing.
I will say, I played a lot of Halo 3 and a lot of Halo Reach on 360. There was definitely some name calling, mostly received on my end, occasionally giving, but only
Yeah.
ever in self-defense.
There's
Also,
a lot of trends in this
yeah,
era of
yeah.
gaming, by the way. Like fucking Guitar Hero starts.
Oh yeah,
In like this console
Yeah,
generation,
yeah.
there are fucking 10 of those or whatever. This where, you know, every like I don't remember console generations because it's tedious remembering all those numbers. Is this the 6th gen or the 7th gen?
It's labeled.
Oh my god, that's what those were.
Yeah.
Well, the 7th gen had all those like muddy FPS games.
Yeah.
That had a lot of, you know, interesting games started in that. It's crazy. I'm like jumping ahead in the fucking system's lifespan a little bit. Oblivion and Skyrim both came out on this game. The graphical difference between those games is like night and fucking day.
Yeah.
That's another fucking Mario 1, Mario 3 thing. Do
you agree?
I agree.
Alright.
Yeah. It's another console with a monster fucking library as well. Hold on.
What?
Is this the DSi? It has like
Does it have exclusives?
Like a couple.
I don't
And
think that.
it's obviously got a different UI. Okay, yeah, DS. The DS is another just like thing I wanted to say about the DS, by the way, just real quick. It's wild to me thinking about how basically Xbox 360 sales almost seem fake to me because it seems like more of a cultural mainstay than the PS2 was. That's called the Japan difference, of course.
Yeah, no fair.
But you know,
because the 360 famously didn't do that well, specifically there.
Yeah.
This is like a whole
An
thing.
Xbox 360 was sold in Japan this week.
Yay!
One of the best posts.
Yeah.
DS.
The DS.
It's fucking here.
Here's...
By the way, like we're rating the normal DS here, but all of you had a Lite. That includes me. We're rating the Lite.
Do I have to do the thing? Because I super did not have the Lite. I had a launch day DS, and I rocked with it all the way until the 3DS came out.
Okay, look, I had a launch day DS, but then I got a Lite because they were just better. It's fine. We're using the DS for this graphic, but for the sake of argument, the DS, the DS Lite, the DSi, and the DSi.
With all of these, we've been rating like the continuum of all the models as one. Like that's just us not wanting to do a bunch of extra work for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Although for what's worth, the DS was kind of crappy, and the DS Lite like fucking salvaged it. Trust me, Jane. Just fucking trust me on this one, okay?
I'm thinking about something. Sorry, I'm thinking about something unrelated. I'm trying to remember the specific timeline here because Black and White, the Pokemon games, came out
2010.
2010.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
if you were curious, the 3DS was already out when Black and White 2 came out.
Yeah. I think it was...
might have been out when Black and White 1 was out.
Yeah. sorry, I'm like
You're
investigating
trying
my
to
own
remember when you
memories
got your
and
3DS, yeah?
trying to figure out, because I distinctly remember buying either black and white. Well, it was white, or no, it was black that I got. I simply remember
Mhm.
buying either black or black 2 for myself with my like a paycheck I had from my first job. But that can't have been the first game, so I think that's actually a 3DS anecdote. Anyway,
Yeah.
um,
HDS time. And
yeah.
this is, I believe, the third best-selling game system of all time, and I think it was the
Huh.
second until the Switch, well, broke its numbers.
Yeah.
I think. I might have that slightly wrong. It's 1 in the morning. Okay, chat, give me a break. I'm sorry. Anyway, DS, fucking school playground fever. Like, holy shit. Everybody had a
God, you're
DS. If
making
you
me
didn't have
feel
a
old.
DS, you were lame. Um, New Super Mario Bros. DS comes out. Holy fuck. Uh, Pokemon. Pokemon. If you ask a certain person, Pokemon was at its best on the DS. I am that certain person, by the way. Gen 5 for life.
Gen
Fucking
5 is
tons of.
cool. I will admit I've always thought it was a tiny bit overrated, but that's okay. That's just me.
I mean, fucking known quantity. It definitely wasn't at the time. Gen 5 has really
Oh
benefited
yeah.
from the
No,
passage of time.
I don't like I liked it a lot at the time. I will
Yeah.
say I'm not realizing
It's
this is old enough that I could look up my old Tumblr posts about what I thought about the games when they came out. Hold on. How hard is that going to be to do?
Tumblr,
If it
if you tagged it properly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if I did. So let's
Because you can do like, blog name slash tagged slash Pokemon
that
slash
is
Chrono.
that is the idea.
The slash Chrono is our goat here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might not have tagged it properly when you were.
Let's find out. Slash tagged slash Pokemon slash Chrono.
Remember, you might have included the E with the accent, and you might
Oldest
not.
post is from 2013.
Well, you're firmly X and Y territory at that point. Add the accent just in case you didn't. Or remove it if you did.
Hey, who wants to see a Pokemon meme I made 12 years ago?
Oh, I do.
I'm putting this up on stream. I'll put myself on blast. I don't give a fuck.
It's pretty good. You should send that in Mugcord right now.
I was like 18 or 19 making this. I was too old to be doing that. And then there's a gap of like 5 years in the. That's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. DS. Nintendogs, by the way. Happens. Everybody fucking buys it. Everybody fucking buys Mario Kart. My thing with the DS, I don't actually know. It's in Super, by the way, just like getting that out of the way. It's not, it looks like a PS2 game. It's not an entertainment system. This is like a me lack of knowledge thing. I don't actually know how much like the wider DS library holds up.
Fair.
I think the DS gets a lot of points on being a cultural touchstone. But Picto Chat. By the way, Wii Mini we're skipping past because it's a dupe, obviously. Hilarious fucking console. Jane, do you know the deal with a Wii Mini?
No, why is it red?
The Wii Mini released in like 2010, 2011 maybe, as a $100 Wii with all GameCube functionality and Wi-Fi capabilities stripped out completely. It is a pure Wii.
Why?
I don't remember how much the Wii. Just because.
That's stupid.
I also think they did it in like a bundle where it came with some important game that people cared about, not Wii Sports, some other thing, and it was still like 100. And the Wii, it was a really good fucking deal, but also,
Hey,
kind of
sorry,
want
I
one
need to
because they're
correct
kind of
myself about
silly.
something real quick. That meme that I posted is actually from 2017, which is even more embarrassing.
No, there's no way.
Seems like it.
I'm sure you must have just.
Yeah,
I'm
this
sure that's
this
just like the
extra
saved
line.
image attribution breaking or something. No, come on, Jane.
Look,
Jane.
a decade ago, everybody liked rapidly vibrating things and
I
putting a
know,
red
but
filter
hello,
over
my baby.
it.
Alright, I don't want to think
uh,
about that anymore. The Wii. Um,
Josh, why do you
so
hate classic Looney Tunes?
so here's my, okay, the
Ah.
Wii was my like childhood console. It's the one I'm nostalgic for. Um, it's weird because Nintendo was always on the map,
Mhm.
but the Wii kind of really put Nintendo on the map, you know?
No,
Um,
I don't. What are you talking about?
as in, it really did a good job bringing in a casual audience that
That's
otherwise
true.
weren't that familiar with
I like
specifics.
famously the thing about the Wii is that if you go to like a retirement home or something, you will find functioning Wii's that they used to play like bowling or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like the thing
Um,
about the Wii, which is
that is
like
becoming the Wii's biggest problem. I feel like we're about to say the same thing. They kind of
you
never
first.
stopped focusing on the casual audience.
Yeah,
So while the Wii had a really successful start, it definitely lost pace towards the end. There's the infamous fucking. I think it was like E3 2009 or 2010 where they did Wii Music and nobody gave a shit. And then either E3 2010, E3 2011, where they showed off Skyward Sword, the Wii's big Zelda game. The motion controls like weren't responding on stage in their live display, which is
that's so awesome.
I love
Like
Skyward Sword, by the way, but that is not a
genuinely,
good song.
I think my favorite Wii game was probably Sin and Punishment 2, which nobody has fucking played that.
Uh, is that an Unreal shooter, or am I thinking of a different thing?
It's a rail shooter, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It's
right.
another one. I have a
No,
real
I'm remembering it now because I'm
yeah.
pretty sure the protagonist is in Brawl as an assist trophy.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
Yeah,
I have a real weakness for like weird rail shooters if you have not noticed that by now.
I've gathered. Um, yeah, no, Wii perfect console for it though. The sensor bar was good.
Yeah.
IR pointer was good. Wii Motion Plus was kind of needed for like more specific gyro shit, but
I also played a lot of Super Smash Brothers on this console with my younger brother.
Brawl fucked.
Yeah.
It's true. Um, got Twilight Princess. Mario Galaxy is on that console. One of my favorite games ever made.
Hmm.
Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is on that console.
Hmm.
Definitive Edition, one of my favorite games ever made. Um, Twilight Princess Fox. I like Skyward Sword a lot. Not an amazing showing for Sonic, unfortunately. But Black Knight, people like the story. Uh,
We
Unleashed is
did
kind
fully
of
gloss
funny.
over Sonic 06 earlier when talking about the 360, but that's
Yeah, there
okay.
was no reason to bring it up. I mean, if we're doing that, then I could bring up that
Look,
Sonic Generations came out on the 360 and is still one of the best games in the franchise.
listen,
Um,
I'm just saying that I
I
have a
know.
lot of very funny memories of doing the multiplayer and then just holding people with the silvers
Me too,
telekinesis.
Jin. Only for me, that was on PS3.
Yeah, you know. Anyway,
Yeah.
the Wii, I feel like, is a quintessential entertainment system entry.
Yeah, it's my bias, my nostalgia, my everything wants me to put it in fucking looks like a PS2 game, but yeah, like realistically, fucking Nintendo, you really needed to bring your hardcore audience in a little bit more. Um,
The PlayStation
PS3.
3.
The PS3
I don't
was a
know
very
shit
interesting
about the
thing.
PS3.
Cause right, here's the thing on the PS3, right? Um, it launched at a ridiculous price, $600. Um, just that for
$599 US. I remember that joke. Yeah. I mean, it
yep.
wasn't even a joke. It was just a fact that people made fun of.
Hmm. It also had really complicated architecture that was really difficult to develop for. Um, its online storefront was worse than Xbox. Um, thing that I would say holds true for the entire PS3 lifespan I think the PS3 controller is dog shit. That thing feels cheap. It feels like it's gonna break in your fucking hands. The analog sticks have no grip to them whatsoever. I actually hate the PS3 controller. I'll fully go to bat for that. I don't think the PS2 controller is even that good either. For that, I honestly think the PS4 controller is the first pretty good Sony controller, and then the PS5 controller is the first good one. But yeah, that's kind of a different thing. For that matter, Xbox 360, one of the best controllers ever. It doesn't really hold up that well today anymore, but just while we're on controllers. But the thing with PS3 is, as the generation went on and we got closer to the end of it, they started putting out some titles that were really impressing people. And
Name
the
them.
seventh, The Last of Us.
Oh yeah, that was a PS3 game. I fucking hate The Last of Us, so that's a point against it, in my opinion.
Look, I never played it. I conceptually hate it as well, but we know what it is in terms
I
of
have played it, and I fucking don't like it.
Fair. Uncharted franchise is mostly kind of fun there as well. A few more games in your Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, etc., etc. Look,
Sorry, I can't just turn this into me ranting about how The Last of Us has turned into this bizarre. I need a minute. Okay, I need a minute.
Then you and I combined are going to go off for the next 5 fucking hours.
I just need a minute.
The Last of Us is a fucking cultural icon that they released 2 games
just give me
6 times each.
Yeah. No, we agree on all this.
Not where we're at.
We agree on all this. The other thing I do just need to say real quick is it is so bizarre to me that The Last of Us, of all fucking video games, is the one that has become this weird synecdoche, where it's oh, your opinion on The Last of Us determines whether or not you're cool or if you're a chud. And it's please don't lump me in with these assholes who don't like the second game because there's a woman in it or something. I'm not even really clear on this. I just think the games are boring and bad. That's it.
Yeah. We don't, Point is...
More like The Last of Suck.
Point is, at the very least, I claimed at the time, a lot more interesting games came out towards the end of its lifespan. I'm not that familiar with one because I didn't have a PS3 growing up. My stepbrother did, so I would sometimes play on it if I was over at my dad's because he lived there. Well, that was where I first played Sonic 06. By the way, the PS3 version came out way later and is also worse than the Xbox version, so that's impressive. More specific, PS3 Sonic 06 came out in 07, by the way.
That's really funny.
March 2007. Sonic 07, that's the game. I think its comeback story is more impressive in terms of, because that's when the Xbox 360 started not having as many exclusives. That's when the Wii was really losing steam. That's the thing, right? Because it's definitely not higher than Entertainment System. I think that initial flop is pretty bad. I don't think its library is as interesting as what they did after and what they were doing before. It could play Blu-rays. Unfortunately, Blu-rays as a format never really, they're still kind of catching up to DVDs. I think Top of Nostalgia Bait is maybe fine, even though it feels, it's, it's the Toho girl with the retro comment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the PS3 is 20 years old.
Thanks for
anyway.
that.
Anyway. It's more damning for me.
I'm older than you. Anyway.
Yeah, but that means it's almost as old as I am.
Anyway, the Sony PlayStation Portable. I never owned one of these.
I did.
Here's my thoughts on the PSP. Really easy to emulate. A lot of weird anime tie-in games for this system.
Fucking
right. And I
right.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Same for the Vita when that shows up. Anime tie-ins and also just anime aesthetic JRPGs. That's what these were good for. A lot of their more popular titles were an almost Game Boy Color-esque. This is a console game a little bit downgraded to to fit on a handheld. Really
Fair.
fucking impressive for the time. The Vita came out in 2004, I think. It pretty much had parity with the PS2. Like, it was an insane fucking console, handheld. Um, of course, its external media library is one of the funniest things about it. UMD movies, Jim. I took you down that rabbit hole a little
We need to share this anecdote with the people.
bit ago. Go off.
We were watching a YouTube video by some guy, just a random little channel like ours, talking about his collection of PSP movies. That was a thing. UMD movies for the PlayStation.
Oh, I
4.
had hundreds.
He had many of them. And one of them was fucking... I don't even remember what the name of the fucking movie is. Not Borat, but the sequel to Borat with a slightly different premise. And he said about it,
Oh god.
he said, yeah, this movie has aged really well because everyone is so sensitive nowadays.
Yeah. It was
Where are we putting the PSP? Can we give it its own
another
tier
humorous
called?
video.
Can we give it its own tier called "Everyone is so sensitive nowadays"?
I don't think we're doing that. I'm gonna be real, because I played a good amount of my PSP. I have 3 PSPs right now. It's a pretty good emulation machine, although we're not judging consoles for that because that's absolutely like unfucking fair. Is it?
I mean, I kind of think that it's like related to the 360 having a big digital library a little bit. Isn't the
Yeah,
Vita
but
more the one that's the emulation box? The PSP is like not quite up
PSP
there.
is a good emulation box for basically Genesis, SNES, and younger. Vita
Okay.
is an emulation beast, but I don't know if we should bring that up. That only this is where it starts kind of applying, to be fair, because the other consoles
Fair,
that have been brought up so far.
fair.
Um, the thing about that is it ends up being like, okay, if we start doing that, then it's like, basically, do you then just get to say, oh, Switch is like the best console because it can emulate all these things. There's also the Switch. Is gaming computer going to go at the top of the list? Like,
Yes, but we can talk
shut
about that
up.
later.
Um, Steam Deck is there as well, by the way. That is the emulation king and is portable and has form factor. But we're not there yet. I think PSP is an entertainment system. I'm
Fair.
not that nostalgic for the library, and it had a couple weirdnesses to it, but I think it's a curious little thing.
The Tiger
Um,
Gizmodo.
Nobody gives a fuck where the Gizmodo.
Here's the thing I need to say. The Tiger
Yeah,
Telemetrics Gizmodo. Different company, I believe, than the Tiger Gamecom. Not the same Tiger. Anyway, um,
cool.
the Gizmodo is the only console I know of where one of the guys in charge of making it nearly died in a really high-speed car crash with a car that he bought because of the hype around the console.
So it's going in, looks like a PS2 game, of course.
Mainly of historical interest.
Okay, I gotta be real. Do you think historical interest extends beyond that
Yeah.
tangent, though?
No, listen. No, listen. Like the story of the Gizmodo is genuinely really fascinating.
Okay,
If anybody is watching this and doesn't believe me, look up like an LGR video or something. It's genuinely really interesting. The actual
look up Sonic
console is
inflation.
dog shit. Like we don't need to talk about that.
Okay, that's fine. Historical interest, then. Google Stadia, this isn't my boy. Like, let's not fucking entertain this.
Like, yeah, literally the only thing anybody cares
Tier
about.
below my boy. Just make a Google fucking Stadia tier.
Like, here's the thing, okay? The only thing anybody cares about with regard to the Stadia is that video of a guy pressing the jump button in a game and the character jumps like a full second and a half later. Get out of
Fucking
here. Whoop.
disgrace.
Get out of here.
Oh. That's the Gen 2, we can put that there. Right, Xbox One X is also a dupe. We're just in the Xbox One.
Is it? I thought they were. I thought they were One X exclusives. Is that wrong?
No,
Okay.
it's like a stronger console, but it doesn't have exclusives. I don't believe if they are, they're fucking important. I think Xbox One is our first like huge dud in the modern era, because
Yeah, I mean,
I recently watched a lot more of the videos from the time, the marketing at the time, the the like fucking Game Awards conference or the E3
God,
conference.
dude.
There's an interview between Jeff Keighley, my fucking worst nemesis, and an Xbox spokesperson, and it's like I'm like taking Jeff's side in that. You know, there's like a whole thing because Xbox One. Remember when it was announced and you needed an always online fucking connection
Yeah.
to play the console? And
Haha, do
there's
you
like a
guys
moment in
not
that
have
fucking
internet?
interview.
Haha, yeah.
There's a moment in that goddamn interview where the guy says like, you know, if you if you want a console where you don't always have to be connected to the internet, we have a console for you. It's called the Xbox 360. And then Jeff says like, so you're saying people should just not buy the Xbox One and stick to their 360 instead? And then the guy's like, well, hold on a minute, Jeff. And it's like the most fucking. The thing is, it had a dismal fucking launch, and it never recovered. That's the thing. Who do you know that
Like,
bought an Xbox One?
my mom, actually, because my
That's crazy.
oldest younger brother really wanted one. But that's a whole
Yeah.
that's a whole other story. I'm pretty sure he only really played Halo on it, which
I think,
yeah.
honest to God, most of the Xbox One sales were just like. It's one of those things, because the 360 breeded like Xbox diehards, but I think for a lot of them, towards the end of the generation, as the Xbox One stuff was announced and then the PS4 stuff was announced, a lot of them had the, like, right, I'm not going to do this to myself. I'm
Yeah.
not going to buy this always online console where I can't fucking buy used games or whatever.
Yeah.
And what games are coming out? There's the new Halo. Okay. What else? Oh, Sunset Overdrive. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
they're like
much.
absolutely fucking.
I give it a tiny amount of points because it's got a good controller, but that's like literally.
Oh
it.
right, yeah. Fucking the controller is it. Like that's it. They did it. They perfected.
And the
controller.
thing is, we're gonna get to this when we get to the computer section in a minute, but you don't need an Xbox One to use an Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
We have a lot of dupes to get rid of here.
Yeah. The only one we need is Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
We don't need the news. They have like 12 exclusive games. The other thing I want to say about the Xbox One really quick, towards the end of its lifespan, and specifically if you're using the Xbox One X with its increased hardware power, good backwards compatibility machine for Xbox 360 titles. There are a lot of Xbox 360 games for which the best way to play them is on the Xbox One X, and down the line, the series. Which, it's great when the best thing that can be said about your console is that it plays your older console games a little bit better.
Yeah, right? Anyway.
Can I see the rest of the tiers? I need to decide if I actually think my boy is fine for one, and it genuinely might be. Honestly, yeah, I think it deserves to say where it is. Fucking piece of shit console.
Like, I guess
they addressed like stuff that happened in that initial marketing push.
Theoretically, we could put it up here for the controller, but
yeah, but I think it stays in my boy.
The
thing is, they addressed a lot of the things that were wrong with it.
Yeah,
but it never started being. The Xbox One was a fucking media machine. It's a thing you put YouTube and Netflix on, and a console second. Honestly, the 3DS. Now, I have a 3DS. I've had a 3DS for a long time.
Me too.
This is where I fall into my never liking handheld as much as console stuff. Because I got way more out of the Wii U. Where the fuck is the Wii U on this list?
Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's not here. No, wait, no, there it is. It's right here.
Oh my god, I'm
put
blind.
it in the wrong place. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. You. That scared me. I never put that much time into my 3DS, and by extension, didn't do a lot of research into the library. But I'm aware that this is another they kind of kicked ass.
They conquered the world, kind of. Yeah. So I guess the question for me is just how much did they conquer the world?
It's in at least Super. Like, let's be real. It's in PS2 game.
I think there's an argument to be made.
Because I'll admit, for myself, there aren't quite as many 3DS games that I'm going
Fair.
back to as
Fair.
often. But
I think we put it with his younger brother, the DS. I don't think, like, I don't think we need to necessarily super litigate the 3DS. It's just,
at the same time, in terms of cultural movements, this is another one where I'm like, holy fuck,
yeah, hack your
I,
3DS.
I I've said this before. I have my fucking like goddamn fantasies about being born like a little bit earlier, more populated country, having more disposable income, and being a 3DS guy. Where I have like, oh, I get the 3DS at launch even
Hey,
when it's more
Josh.
expensive, and they give me no, Jane. Let me fucking go into my goddamn fantasy,
All
okay?
right, you can keep
My
doing
street
that.
has
I'll be right
people.
back. I need to go get another drink.
Nice. No, like this is like an autism like freaky thing for me, chat. Like I wanted to just fucking like I get a 3DS at launch. I get the ambassador set that they gave out for free for people that bought the overpriced 3DS. I get like the revisions when they come out. Eventually, I've got like, oh, this is my original 3DS I'm nostalgic for. Oh, this is the one that I modified with a capture card. Maybe I mod this one. This is my main 3DS for general purpose. Maybe a new 3DS XL, maybe a new 3DS normal. Because the thing is, the XL seems like it should theoretically be the definitive version of this system. But your new 3DS normal has those goddamn plates, and I kind of love the plates, chat. But theoretically, like when I imagine a console that I'd like want on me at all times, I kind of think the 3DS, which is this weird thing because I have one and I don't even use it that much. But like, you can mod later consoles and get more success than what a 3DS can give you. But there's something about that 3DS, I want I want to resell a 3DS, even though I don't care about console resells like normally. There is something about the cultural touchstone of the 3DS that is really appealing to me for some reason. I love its UI. By the way, in terms of modding, people have made like custom themes for it that are really interesting. I love Badge Arcade when that came out. I was on my 3DS every single day doing that. Like, internet capabilities really took off on 3DS compared to like DSi and shit. Like, in a sense, it has less. I almost think 3DS, the word I want to use is it's the newest retro console, almost. Because they are retro at this point. There's stuff to be nostalgic, but it's also like it's not actually that high tech, but it's one of those things where it's very feature complete in a way that you can go back in time to a bit older consoles, and you are less connected in a way compared to the 3DS, which I think gives it an appeal that I personally am really into. Um, Oh, I need to bitch about the Vita, no, the PSP when Jane gets back and complain about the lack of a second analog stick. 3DS also probably could have benefited from a second analog stick. But that's what the new 3DS is for. No, I don't know. I just think Street Passing is awesome. That's the TLDR. Jane is about to sit down again.
Hello.
Jane,
Yeah.
welcome back. The utterance I stumbled upon that I think puts my feelings into words the best. The 3DS is the newest retro console. Is how I want to put it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That
it's-
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think you go further back than the 3DS and things start being a little less connected. But it's also obviously like retro. It's also probably one of the most fun consoles for modding, even though it can't
Yeah.
play everything. It's got all those user themes and shit. People love.
Yeah,
the
I
user
have.
themes, Jane.
Yeah, I have one for mine that is like Serial Experiments Lane themed, and it's like my favorite thing that I own. Like I don't even
Are we
play
putting
it.
it in a higher tier? You have a Serial Experiments Lane theme on your 3DS, Jane.
I do. Here's the thing, though. I mostly use my 3DS to play TurboGrafx games.
That's based.
Like I don't have
Maybe
to.
it's finance.
Yeah,
Super. Tiers aren't even ordered anymore, by the way.
It's kind of just vibes, to be honest.
Yeah.
The Wii
Wii
U,
U.
the Splatoon machine.
I got a Wii U. It wasn't that new when I got it, but it was
Lol,
pretty new.
lamau.
I have a lot of nostalgia for this thing.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was my main
Okay.
console for fucking years.
The Wii U.
Smash 4 was on it as well, Jane.
I mean, I guess that's true.
Yeah, I like a lot of the games on the Wii U's library. Um, Smash 4 is there, Hyrule Warriors is there, Splatoon's there, Xenoblade X is there, Mario 3D Land is World rather is there, Mario Maker is there. I'm turning my head to look at my Wii U games. So I'm kind of running out. Um, I like it a lot, but also, yeah, this console was a fucking disaster. It's not going in my boy. It's better than that, but like,
It
it's
needs
the.
more development.
I actually think Toppa needs more development. Is
Alright.
exactly where this thing belongs because
It
cool
needed more
console, but it needed more development time, hours,
Yeah.
fucking shit.
Can I say, nobody can accuse us of having like a time period bias, I don't think. We've got like a good mix of things from like all time periods in all the tiers.
Like, I think the main thing you can say against it is your pre-NES stuff is all a bit poor, but then we put the Vectrex and the Lynx and the TurboGrafx 16 above like the Wii U and
Yeah.
the Xbox One.
I stand by that.
I do as well.
I would take Scramble over most Wii U games. Sorry.
I would not, but Switch Lite is a dupe.
I have
Switch OLED.
a very nice turquoise Switch Lite that I am fond
Hell
of.
yeah. Switch OLED is in the bottom row, second one, by the
That's
way. We'll
also
also
a
just
dupe.
put that. Yeah. Switch 2 isn't on this, by the way. I think this is a slightly older list.
Yeah, it was said it was last
PS5 and
updated
Series
22.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we need to add
We-
Switch 2.
We don't.
Switch 1. My thing with a Switch. The thing about the Switch is we have absolutely reached the era where your console can kind of do not everything, obviously, especially not the Switch, but at the same time, like, the Switch has a truly ridiculous fucking library of first party games. The third party support is good across the board. There's a lot of impressive ports. The form factor is I just love. I love the portable.
Here's what I.
Cunt.
Did you just say the portable cunt?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay.
Just checking, that's all.
Worst thing about the Switch is the fucking lack of themes, honestly, TBH.
Here's my thing, like, I acknowledge intellectually that there are a lot of good Switch games. My Switch is a Pokemon machine, mostly. and you know...
To be fair, I think if you mod chipped your Switch, then you would be playing a lot more games on it.
That's true, but also that costs money, so...
Yeah, I know. That's a real,
also,
like,
it's a Switch Lite, which I don't even know if you can do that to those. Anyway.
Oh, you can. Koro has one.
Oh.
Charge Koro, by the way.
Oh, yeah, hi. If you're watching this, Koro, hi.
Yeah. Such a love.
Like, the thing is, fair, I don't know. The Switch felt like it had a really strong start, and I feel like it's kind of petered out a little bit in its, like, the second, not even the second half, but, like, the final leg of its lifespan as a console.
To be fair, there was definitely, like, as ever, like, COVID impacted this entire generation, really. I think Switch 2 definitely came out a lot later than people...
Sorry, hold on, Josh. Like, that was way more true than you meant it to be, and I needed to take a second.
Yeah. No, it impacted the console development too. I think Switch 2 took a lot longer to come out than people thought it was, and in that sense, there was a very between point for the Switch 1 into the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the first party support ever really stopped kicking ass, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, even from what I've seen, like, even the Switch 1 version of Pokemon ZA, which came out, like, last week, looks and plays pretty good compared to especially the previous Pokemon game on the series.
Yeah.
So, like, clearly, if they wanted to, and this isn't how companies work because everything has to be infinite, more profit forever. If they wanted to, I think Nintendo could continue just making Switch games kind of perpetually And
I think they're going to support it for a while, certainly.
yeah, I feel like it'll have a long tail, which is cool.
Mario Wonder came out on Switch.
Yeah,
That's a game you played recently.
I did. I like that game.
Emulated, which is fine.
Why would you say that on public? You're just blowing up my spot. I couldn't afford it, okay? I'm poor. I'm trying to save up money to get my fucking teeth fixed.
That's entirely valid. I was bringing it up in terms of,
I did play it on an emulator. Ran fine.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
By the way, I do realize that like the ordering of this is such that we have done Xbox and Wii U, but not PS4 yet.
That's weird,
but who cares? We're already talking about the Switch. Let's just fucking continue to talk about the Switch.
I don't really have anything else to say, to be honest. I feel like this is either a super or an entertainment system.
Okay, I definitely don't think it's an entertainment system. I think it's in super at least. My argument is because I think I could comfortably put it in looks like a PS2 game. Like, quite easily. I think it's such a fucking... Its library is so fucking good. Its back catalog is so fucking good.
Conveniently, that gives us one from, like, each of the big three contemporary gaming companies. That's kind of funny.
The thing where
I'll defer to you because you play Switch stuff a lot more than I do.
Well, the thing where I almost want to dock points is I think... And this is where it starts getting really difficult, okay? Because it's not like gaming used to be better than it is now in some, like, grand overarching sense. But I do have nostalgia for some of the consoles that aren't this. Whereas I don't really have nostalgia for Switch, and that makes some difference, but, like, I don't know how much of a difference. Because the thing is, if you said, like, oh, the SNES is one of the best consoles ever...
I have a compromise.
Nobody... Well, before you do, I'm just gonna say, like... Saying the Switch is Nintendo's best console feels boring, even though it's kind of just a true statement, you know? Especially if you factor in modding, it's everything that the old consoles are anyway, but the native library already kind of supports that. There are obvious business practice elements where things have gone worse. I love the Switch Pro controller. The actual Joy-Cons suck. Online used to be free for every other Nintendo problem.
Weird thing. I actually quite liked the Switch cons. I never really got...
like, they're nice, but drift.
I mean...
If you just don't drift, then they're great.
Not to be like, well, in my experience with literally all of these consoles, but we have a launch Switch and it never experienced drift.
Yeah. Mine wasn't so lucky. I don't know though, like, because it really is probably like just the best thing they've made. And I think like we're kind of understating how fucking incredible it is that this tablet is what it is, and is also just like a fully featured home console.
My thought,
just take it to the shitter or on the bus or whatever, and still play Breath of the Wild. Like,
I mean, fair. My thought is just like the Switch is like still kind of an ongoing concern. We do not know. We do not know how
long
history will view the Switch 2.
I mean, that's kind of another thing. Fucking 20 years down the line, I could be singing a completely different tune.
My thought is this, okay? My thought is this. I think, based on what we have seen so far, based on the Switch, its lifespan, I think people are going to be very nostalgic for the Switch in 20 years. I feel like the Switch 2 is going to have that kind of Wii U-y reputation of like, yeah, there were some good games, but they kind of fucked up the launch, and it sort of never recovered.
I don't know. The thing is, we can say they kind of fucked up the launch because that's how it feels in like a cultural sense with the pricing shit. It's also the fastest selling console in history.
Yeah, and I mean...
by a wide margin.
You know, like the other thing is that you and I are just like two random people, and we are capable of being wrong about things. I just don't...
can't see the future, unfortunately.
I just don't see it, though, for the Switch 2. Like...
We'll have to see. Remember, the console has been out for 4 months.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know, I could buy...
4 months in did not yet feel like, oh shit, they did it, they're back.
Like
became that after years of sustained support.
Like
And COVID again.
that is like a whole factor. Actually, we didn't even talk about like
Animal Crossing, New
yeah,
Horizons,
Animal Crossing during COVID was like a big thing for a lot of people. Not me, but my good friend Lexi. Shout out to Lexi. Was a big AC Horizons player during that period.
Me too.
Yeah, you too. So like it's fair enough. Yeah, it can stay in it can stay in a PS2 game tier. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're done talking about that one now that we took too much time talking about the Switch. Hey, you remember the Ouya? Hey, you want to hear something even more embarrassing than the fucking Whalmer meme? I was a big Ouya believer.
That sucks, Jim.
Yeah, I really thought... I didn't buy one, so it's not as embarrassing as it could be. But I really thought... I would have led that if I had bought one. I really thought they were onto something, and I still kind of think that there's some potential in the idea, but I think the window has passed. Kind of like the idea of a console that is essentially like a cheap indie games machine is a compelling one. I don't think it will ever really exist, and I'm eyeing the Panic Playdate as I say this. We'll get to that. It's an idea that I think is like weirdly like too much of an ideal for the real world. Like nobody. If you are somebody like me and you play a lot of indie games, you play them on your computer.
Yeah.
You don't really want to go out and be buying a thing for this, and the Ouya attempting to be that proved that. And there were things that they could have done better. Famously, the manufacturing quality of the Ouya was really bad. Like the controllers broke very easily, and the actual system itself was basically just a small computer in a box. And felt like it to use, apparently. So I think maybe in a better timeline, we're talking about this as like a noble failed experiment. In the timeline we currently live in, I think this is firmly a my boy.
I think it's also my boy, by the way. But a thing that has really taken off in the past couple of years, and it's kind of a different thing, but small gaming handhelds are like really just a controller running Android, and you dock it up with emulators. Those are all over the place.
That's kind of what the Evercade is. We'll get to that.
Yeah. But there are so many of those now. Again, it's not quite what the Ouya is. You're not buying games on those. In that sense, actual portable computers like the Steam Deck and the fucking ROG Allies and shit.
Like if you wanted something like this, the Steam Deck ate your lunch. And I think the Steam Deck is. I don't have one. I really want one someday. But the Steam Deck, I think, is just a better execution of the same concept, because if you are mainly trying to play this kind of thing, you're doing it on a computer, and a Steam Deck is just a computer in a box.
Yeah.
And I think the Ouya was a combination of just a little bit enough ahead of its time as a concept that people weren't really ready for it yet, and also the business practices were fucking bad, which is what pushes it down to this tier as opposed to historical interest.
I think a lot of those smaller gaming handhelds that are coming out nowadays are like, some of the price points for them are really good, to where you can just buy like something with the form factor of like a DS or like a Game Boy Advance SP, and it can just play like up through like PS2 games, just easy as fuck for like $100 or something, and it's like, that's hard to complain about. I don't have one. I wouldn't know where to start.
Essentially, because it's just the it is just the Neo Geo, but like as a mini.
The Neo Geo X is one of the consoles where, before Jane and I started recording this, we looked Because I was like, okay, this is the tier maker that is like the cleanest, the most organized, the one where everything's the easiest to recognize. It has a bunch of shit we don't need. That's okay. We can deal with that as we're going. There's some of these we don't even know. What the fuck is a Neo Geo X? Yeah, Neo Geo just put out like a fucking. Oh, this is a Neo Geo throwback console that we put out in 2012. It has a bunch of classic Neo Geo games on it, and we're going to put out more. And they put out like 12 more over the course of like a year in little cartridges. And nobody really, well, I had never heard of it.
All I'm gonna say, I brought him up earlier. I'm gonna say it again. Stuart Ashton has a very good video on this console where you can watch him basically take a piss all over it because it's bad. So
Is it more? It's not really a chip. This kind of just isn't my boy, right?
it's kind of both because it is just a Neo Geo,
But then,
but it we can put it in my boy if you
yeah,
really.
yeah.
It was not good. Is my understanding.
Here is the PS4.
What is the
Uh,
PSTV?
I don't. I don't know.
All right.
We finally have another one.
Yeah. I have no
Yeah.
idea what that is, and I don't feel like looking it up
Yeah.
because we're almost done.
PS4.
Open the
I've
door,
never
get
owned
on
one.
the floor. Still no games for the PS4. Everybody remember
So,
that one?
I don't. It's that didn't age very well because the
No, it
PS4 has an
didn't.
insane library.
I just like that song that that's
Yeah,
based on.
still no games for the PS5, and that one is true. But we'll get there. PS4, I've never owned one. I've never really liked it. A lot of people that have them in my life, they kind of break down a bit easily. They seem kind of not that well made. But I can't lie. I think the console itself is like mostly just a home run from like start of its generation to finish, right?
Fair.
Like I don't love it that much. In terms of my own attachment, it's firmly like entertainment system, but I think logically it goes in
We can put it up
super
here.
or maybe you can kind of get away with putting in looks like a PS2 game because the thing is at this point it just has like
I have fully
the
just not really any attachment to the PS4 is the
no,
problem.
again, me neither. I'm just going like almost objectively, and if such a thing happens,
Eh.
because support just kept fucking going. There's still PS4 games coming out,
That's true,
and
but
you know,
like, eh.
it's at a point where digital libraries are getting insane. Cross-platform play is happening. Like most games you want to play, you can play them on a PS4. The controller is the first good Sony controller. Um, I don't like the system UI, but it works. I think like it's a console that does pretty much everything right. Nothing really all that wrong. I don't have any attachment to it. But
Same.
I,
Yeah.
it's
So it goes in
also
super.
it's
Is
one
the
of the
thing.
best-selling consoles, to be fair, or another one anyway. Um, the Vita.
Sony PS Vita.
The thing I forgot to mention earlier, the PSP was missing that one analog stick, which was deranged of them.
Huh.
Yeah, PSP has one analog stick on the left, Jin, nothing on the right.
That's
Isn't that weird?
Actually,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. I have a PSP literally right here.
Oh, silly Jin.
Huh. Yeah, look at that. That's bizarre. I've never really
Yeah,
taken a good look at this thing before. It's not mine, it's Carrie's.
yeah. Well,
You should ask her if I can fiddle with this sometime. She hasn't used it in a while at this point.
not a lot of people bought the Vita, which is one of those things that has become a known shame because, I think for a lot of people it was like you didn't know what you had until it was gone thing. Vita
Don't it always seem to go?
was
Yeah.
really powerful for being a handheld. It is another like emulation beast at this point. I believe they're supposed to be like very fucking premium like feeling,
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have the Vita, then yeah, turn that thing into a fucking emulation beast and have that be your main shit. Because it's a nice fucking thing. I think people like the system UI, but it's the classic. I think for a lot of people, handheld gaming, And, in fact, yeah, fucking mobile phones were, starting to really take off. That's the type of games that people want to play on a handheld at that point, Um, VIA didn't really get a lot of games that people were really interested in. It
Yeah,
is a hidden gem machine at this
what
point.
I mainly
Um,
know about the PS Vita outside of its emulation capabilities is like supposedly a lot of very good like JRPG type stuff, right?
yeah,
I'm not
and
making that
Gravity
up.
Rush.
Yeah, and
No, you're
Gravity
not
Rush.
making that up at
Yeah.
all. Um, and Gravity Rush, my god. I think Gravity Rush is one of the most famous like hidden gem games at this point.
Yeah.
That's a separate thing. Um, but no, like I never had one. I never knew anybody that had one. It came out too close to the PS4, and when mobile gaming was taking off, and didn't have any games people were all that interested in. What are our tiers? Because I think needs more development. Actually, just like
Yeah.
straight up.
Like a
Uh,
yeah, fair.
I kind of think needs more development as a tier might belong above Fun for an Afternoon at this point.
I
But I
can
don't
I
know.
can. Uh, uh, hmm.
That's the thing about having a tier called fucking needs more development because it's like
It's
the
not a
version of
value judgment,
okay,
right? It's just like it needs more
yeah.
development. That's all.
Here's the thing, Shane. I'm gonna make a statement that's gonna make you realize something. If we started all the Mudcore tier list videos like several years after we actually did, this tier would be called the Potential Man tier.
Yeah.
No, no, Shane, please. Not yet, okay?
I
That comes
scared.
in
I
the new
scared
Mudcore
you.
era. You did. Uh, uh, I should get a veto. Anyway, what's next?
Just doing some rearranging. The
But I don't know
Evercade.
shit about these.
These go into INO. I think like these are not.
Nice.
I don't know it. Like I don't know shit about the Evercade.
Yeah.
I have heard it's fine if you like that kind of thing, but I don't
Yeah.
really care.
Now, before we actually talk about the series consoles, I do want to say that conceptually, I appreciate releasing the Series X and the Series S at the same time and positioning a like more budget affordable console beside your premium console.
I don't.
Just like as a conceptual thing. Conceptual. That's the important distinction.
Fair.
Because in execution, they made a digital only console. Bad fucking idea. Also, they made it so their stronger console is necessarily impaired by the games being able to run on the weaker one. So no Xbox Series games take advantage of the Xbox Series X's hardware. So for our purposes, by the way, the Series S is the dupe. It's the one that's going in the dupe's tier. Although I think it sells better than the Series X does, which is fucking hilarious. Here's the thing, okay? The Series X is above. Yeah, I think honestly you're just right. Like
That's always been my impression. I don't know.
I don't know. I almost think the
Like,
thing about the Series X is
or is it worse? Is kind of the question.
my thing. The Series X came out in Game Pass time, and thanks to Game Pass, there just hasn't been a lot of reason to get an Xbox console anymore at all.
Yeah.
They keep removing your reason to be interested in this thing. They
Like,
upped the
but
price recently, which is a hilarious thing to do 5 years into a console generation, make the system more expensive.
Like, not to get too deep into something serious, but we're like not even considering like ethical quandaries here of like, do you really want to be giving money to Microsoft while they're like selling bombs to the IDF and stuff? Like,
Yeah,
that's not what they're doing, by the way. I way oversimplified it, but like you get what I mean. We're just
I don't think it's in a tier this high, but the tiers
purely
below it are.
as a console is like.
I don't think it's of historical interest, but I also know too much about it for I don't know. But it's also like enough of a functioning thing in the modern era.
I actually think it is of historical interest. Now that you bring it up, listen. Here's my thoughts.
Might become.
Okay?
I
think
want this to be the last console Xbox ever makes.
Yeah, unless they're gonna like try something actually. Well, I mean,
The thing is, one of the
yeah,
Xbox
no, you're right.
spokesperson already said that
You're
they're
just
thinking
right.
about the next Xbox already. So I don't think that it will be the last Xbox ever made, but I think it should be.
Can we talk about
Their
like
entire
okay,
recent.
this is such a nothing
That's a good thing.
observation, and people say it all the time. Can we talk about how stupid the fucking names for the Xboxes have been? Xbox,
Oh
fine.
yeah,
Xbox 360, little confusing, but okay. Xbox One, no, it fucking isn't. Xbox One X, Xbox
acronym
Series
Xbox.
S, Xbox Series X. Why are you
A lot of
trying to make it as confusing as possible? Like, what's the
By the way,
game
all their like
there?
fucking boxes constantly change design and what they say on top of them. Some Xbox games just say Xbox on top, and it's like, wait, what console is this for? And it's like, oh,
Nice.
it's for Xbox One X and the series. And it's like, huh, okay. Um, I don't know. Don't scroll down yet. I think being an Xbox fan is probably insanely depressing.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're talking about this. Like, I'm not
Studios and
one.
shutting them down as
Well,
well. By the way, that's where
that's
all the
the
fucking money
yeah,
goes.
like that's the thing. Like, we're talking about like I'm not one of these. Like, I really like the Xbox and I really like the 360, but they are clearly not interested in making good consoles anymore. They haven't been for a
Yeah,
long time,
I
and
think
it's just like
historical interest is fine,
yeah.
honestly. Right. Game & Watch 2020. I have this. I bought one recently. I don't know how you're supposed to rate this as a console. It is a little fucking. It's a little game. It has Mario 1 and 2 on it, on a clock.
Yeah, like
It's cute.
it's more of a novelty than anything. I would say it doesn't
Yeah.
really seem like it belongs on on this tier maker at all.
I don't know what the fuck a Playdate is.
So the Panic Playdate is a essentially sort of the same idea as the Ouya, but like made it less shitty. Like you can see it's got a fucking crank on it. I believe the Panic Playdate is crank powered. Like you
Oh.
you fucking hold on. Let me just make sure I'm not spreading information before I say this. Like I believe, yeah, features a mechanical crank and a black and white screen. Essentially, the idea with this is that rather than being a traditional video game console, you buy it and you download games that are released over time for it, as you would download perhaps episodes of a TV series. Hence, they call them Season 1 and so on. Season 1, Season 2. I think they might be on Season 3, I forget. And they're like little games made by developers specifically for the Playdate, and that's the conceit, right?
I see.
I sort of it's one of those things where I think it's kind of a cool idea, but it's so like because I don't think there's any way to like keep the games after they like stop airing, quote unquote. Uh, which
One of those things where the novelty impedes the function a little too
yeah,
much.
like it's just one of those things where I don't really understand. Um,
You can put it wherever seems appropriate, Jen.
it feels like an I don't know, but it's like a literal I don't. I almost feel like this needs its own tier because like
I
I
don't
would
think we need to introduce another tier, though.
I guess. Like, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's the same thing as the Game & Watch, where it's like, this
Yeah.
isn't a console in the same way that the other stuff on the list is a console.
Yeah, fair.
It's its own thing, I don't know.
Right. Jesus. This is just the PS5 is the console you buy to play new games that are releasing. It's not the console you buy because you're interested in what the PS5 is doing or offers unto itself. The controller fucking kicks ass though. It's the first good PlayStation controller. I still like Xbox controllers more, by the way, but it's good. Otherwise, like, yeah, no, I mean, fucking. The thing is, the PS6 is already like closer than we think it is, such that everybody has kind of just realized the PS5 was kind of the dismal failure of a generation. Not
Yeah.
financially, it did well, but culturally, there really was never any reason to buy a PS5 unless there was just a game for it that you cared about that wasn't coming out on anything else. And there aren't a lot of those because most of them ended up coming out on PC later. Um, I think top of well, it's in need more development because this turns into a different thing. Third parties don't care about making exclusives anymore because that's just a bad idea.
Yeah.
Just make your games available and everything, which leaves it up to Sony's own development team, and then they have the same problem that they've gradually had like more and more ever since like fuck the Last of Us. Funnily enough, games keep taking more and more time and more money to make. Every fucking AAA Sony game that comes out is in development for usually like 5 years minimum, and it's a fucking I think like Spider-Man 2 needed to sell like 8 or 9 million copies to break even. And it's like, what the fuck has to happen to where that is like a business model that you're like, yeah, this is a good idea. Because it's
Like,
unsustainable. It's destroying
yeah,
their dev teams.
we get
The
into like a not very fun part of this list where we're like the current industry is about to crash again,
yeah,
probably. Like,
the
there are still a lot of great video games coming out, but
yeah,
with like one or two exceptions a year, most of them are from smaller teams. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Something.
Um,
It's
the
sad, and it also leaves this as like a weird nowhere land for video game consoles. Because I don't know what we can talk about this because we're getting toward the end of the list. Do you want to just knock these ones out, and then we'll kind of dovetail with gaming,
I
computer, and
not yeah. I do want to say just like a few more words on PS5 because
specifically? Okay.
the it was at like the last Game Awards where they announced that new fucking game by Naughty Dog. I can't remember what Intergalactic maybe, and
Yeah.
it was just another pre-rendered trailer for some game that had been in development for like 4 years at this point. It was announced a year ago. We haven't seen gameplay yet. There's already talks with the PS6. This game probably started development before the PS5 released, and will probably release when the PS6 does. And it's like, right. And by the way, fucking known factor, Astrobot came out. One game of the year. Small team, small development time. Everybody
Yeah.
loved it. The most acclaim a PlayStation game has gotten, like, seriously in a long time.
Like,
I
yeah.
hope on God that lessons are learned from that. And it will take a
Yeah.
while for lessons to be learned from that, because the thing is, Intergalactic was in development before Astrobot was, and you're not going to can all that development, Finish
Yeah.
the development that was already there. But long term, they need to see that and be like, okay, nobody really truly cares about how many like teraflops of data are streamed from the mainframe, you know?
Yeah.
Just make a
It's
good game.
it's just, and this is why I kind of wanted to knock these out real quick so we could get to like the final thesis and then talk about the computer thing here. Um, we get to a point in the conversation where it's like, okay, the convergence point of all of these points we're making is the economy is real fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
To that end, I thought we should put Switch 2 on here. I don't think I want to.
no, because we'd be saying the same shit about the Switch too. Like,
hmm
um,
It goes a bit differently because Nintendo still make good games, thankfully. But they're the
yeah,
money cunts.
yeah.
Anyway.
So let's knock all these out real quick.
Yeah, I don't know what a shield. Okay, I know what a shield
like-
portable is. It's a Chinese Wii. It has Mario Galaxy.
No,
Yeah, Shield TV. I don't know what that is. Like actually,
Don't
um,
know. On Live Cloud. Literally, I've
I've never
never heard of
fucking heard of
this.
that. Nice. Um,
The Steam Deck.
let's before we do Steam Deck. I've never heard of Steam Link. I've seen the Valve controller. That's apparently not that good. I think this is another. I don't know. And then we talk about
Fair.
Steam Deck and
Steam
computer.
Deck and computer kind of together. Um,
Yeah,
so
Steam Deck's serving a different
here's
purpose because it's running like
yeah.
Far
Well,
specifically,
this is what
but
I'm gonna say. This is what
it's
I'm gonna say.
portable.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. A computer is not a console.
Yeah,
Like if you stack a decently powerful gaming computer, or even like a kind of middle of the line gaming computer, up against literally any console ever made, the computer's going to come out on top in terms of having library, customizability, mod support, like everything.
yeah.
Like you just you can't compete on those terms. Um,
Emulation beasts were like a minor talking point throughout this video.
yeah,
Uh, the computer,
yeah.
like,
So I'm at like if we rank the computer, it needs to either be up here or we need to even make like a new tier just called like that's cheating or something. Like because it's a completely different conversation. The point of a
I
console as compared to a
seriously, yeah.
computer is that it is supposed to be like a not necessarily exclusively but primarily for playing video games.
Yeah,
And economically, ideally you want it to be cheaper to have a computer for your work stuff and a console than just a really beefy computer to do all that on.
yeah. And to be
Computers
fair,
have
there's
been
stuff to do
winning
with
that
like
war for a while
setup and reliability. Because the good
yeah,
thing
that's
about a
true.
console is you can just buy it and play it. Building a PC is a lot more stressful than
That's
buying a
true.
console,
That is true.
and you're much more likely to run into compatibility issues compared
Yeah.
to just if the game came out on your console, it probably
Yeah.
works on your console.
The
Um,
thing is, though, like, once you get past all that, and that is a factor, don't get me wrong, but, like, once you get
yeah,
past all that, you get into fundamentally, again, like, a console and a computer are just two different things.
yeah.
And like I'll reveal I'll take my disguise off now and reveal myself as a filthy PC gamer. I mostly play games on my computer nowadays because like what's the point of trying to buy the new thing where most of these consoles don't really work that well on launch and they have pretty small libraries, especially compared to a computer. Um, and in 5 years they've come out with a new model anyway that is better and also costs more and has the same problems. It,
Yeah,
it it's it you hit a point where it becomes like genuinely just uneconomical to buy consoles at all.
you can.
Which is not a fun conclusion to this video, and I didn't really think about this
Yeah,
until we got here. But I'm
we've
like,
done good. A
yeah,
PC, you can, you have your PC, you can swap enough parts. Just over time, maybe you're spending more money, but
yeah.
maybe
And
not in
then
the long term. You
the
ship a
thing,
Theseus. How the fuck do you print? What is it?
ship a
Ship a.
Theseus.
Okay,
Theseus
yeah,
is
you
easier.
do. You do ship a Theseus yourself into probably eventually not having the same PC anymore, but who cares? Because
Yeah.
it worked the entire time, didn't
Like,
it?
like the thing that puts a dent in this, there's a couple things. Thing one, Windows 10 support is officially, technically over.
Yeah,
People have found ways to
extend it, but
create a barrier for a year or so,
we
and
are
we don't
delaying the inevitable.
we don't know what the future looks like for Windows PCs.
That'll matter
Um,
for support.
that does
A lot
matter.
of these
Yeah.
emulators, a lot of older
Um,
games. It's good. I don't know if
Windows
you've fucking
11.
heard about this. The PC version of GTA, either Vice City or San Andreas, a Windows 11 update, um, like introduced a junk data point bug that caused a minor glitch in that aforementioned GTA version that made a certain plane in a certain location, basically fall off the map. which is
Huh.
kind of hilarious.
That's funny.
It didn't actually fall off the map. It's like fucking wheels were too big, so the physics
That's
um
awesome.
launched it into the air instead. It was
All
out of
right.
reach as the
I will need to look this up later. Anyway,
I'll
uh,
send you the video.
thank you.
Well,
The thing is just like I say this not to be like a computer doomer. I think eventually Windows 11 will be perfectly usable. And if not, like getting on Linux isn't that difficult these days if you just follow instructions and yada 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 yada. Um, but then the Steam Deck comes in, and the Steam Deck is a computer in a box specifically designed for making video games. Like,
it bridges the gap.
yeah, it is like a hybrid thing of like,
You
okay,
can
what if we
you
just
can
put an
mod it, by
affordable
the way.
computer? Yeah, like what if we just put an affordable computer in a console form factor and
Mhm.
you know, I don't have a Steam
You-
Deck. I'm not trying to like get out
Well,
here
the-
and
the
be like,
thing-
"Ooh, thank you, Gaben." You know,
Yeah.
a base, our savior. You know, blah blah blah. It's just like
The thing I was about to say is
You
you can
know.
mod it to turn it into more of a normal PC. You can run Windows on a Steam Deck if you want.
yeah,
But normally, your out-of-the-box Steam Deck experience, it's a locked-down Steam OS ecosystem, and it will run Steam, and it'll play your Steam games. And you can mod it to add all your emulators and run different shit. But out the gate, you're getting Steam, which is,
which is
one
like
of the biggest libraries
yeah,
ever
like
in a
Steam's
portable form factor, and it can be a computer if you want.
yeah, like Steam's library alone is bigger than a lot of console libraries. So like all of them actually. Now that I'm thinking about it
Possibly
easily.
all of them combined.
Yeah, like easily. I said a lot of, and then I realized how stupid what I said was.
Yeah.
So I think, like I joked about it. I'm doing it.
The PC tier, the gaming computer is cheating at the very least.
Also,
Whether or not Steam
what?
Deck
Hey,
counts.
hey.
Okay, no, I saw what happened. You need to move.
Oh.
Looks like a PS2 game
Yeah,
up,
okay.
and yeah, you're just
What?
changing colors.
We'll figure out the final colors for this in a second. I wanted to make this one gray because Steam. That's closer to Steam
Yeah.
gray actually. Like these two things are just not in the same list as everything else.
That's fair. Wow. Is that it?
Yeah, no, we're like we want to finalize the colors real quick. I think.
Yeah. I always like starting from purple, by the way.
Yeah,
Purple
that's
into
fair.
pink into red into just go down
Yeah,
like the
let's-
fucking list.
Uh,
It's already red. How convenient.
oh, I mean, we could do it that way. I was thinking like blue, and then we just do like a gradient.
Oh, well, it's up to you. You're the one with the,
The click
you
it.
control the buttons you press. Hey, you skipped the blue.
I know. I'm trying to like cover all of the main colors. Actually, though, I don't need to skip a blue to do that. Now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Anyway, the future looks weird for video games. In some ways I'm excited about, in some ways that I'm very concerned about, but I think that's also like pretty normal for people who care even like a tiny bit about video games at this point in time. I did it again.
They hate you.
They do. And then
Nope, that's the wrong one.
Dupes can get the other gray.
Oh,
What do you
okay.
mean?
No, sorry, I just didn't realize it was
Yeah,
again the other
yeah.
gray.
Actually,
okay.
yeah, whatever. I'm overthinking it.
This cheating, PS2 best console ever. It does make sense, admittedly. I think that is when you think about the like pros and cons and the cultural impact and all that shit, I think, Xbox 360, PS2, Switch, it's pretty much the best console that each of the big three made. What's the dark big three of the consoles? We're not doing that question.
No, we are.
But-
Neo
No, Jim,
Geo.
come on.
It's the Neo Geo Pocket Color, the Vectrex, and the Sega Saturn. I don't know.
Okay, I was also gonna say Saturn if you didn't. Yeah, I mean, it ended up getting a bit depressing the closer we got to present day. Funnily
Yeah,
enough.
it's crazy how that works. I swear we're not like, ooh, gaming was better in the old days type of
Look,
like,
Switch 2
zoomers,
wasn't
but-
on this list. I have a Switch 2. For all intents and purposes, it may as well be the best console I've owned. It's a Switch, but really fucking nice. Like, and the Switch is already fucking great. It's not quite as portable. Oh well. I never used it handheld that much anyway.
Yeah, you know,
Um,
yeah.
Obviously, like, there are, some specific. Like, the dupes tier is full of dupes, obviously. There are a couple things there where it's like it kind of changes at least the feel of the experience enough to be interesting, But that's not.
True, but this video
Like-
is about to, wait for it, we just passed the 3-hour mark.
Oh, okay. I thought we were hitting 4. Okay, that's not as
No.
bad as I thought.
It did take about 3 times as long as I assumed it would, though, which I need to start, like, just multiplying my thought of how long it's going to take to do these by 3.
Yeah, you need to remember that you and I are both yappers.
We really are. Like, that's the only reason these videos exist. Like, I'm just going to spoil it for you. It's not because I think anybody cares, and it's not because we're making money off of this. We're not.
Oh yeah, we just.
We just are. We just yap. We're both.
Jane is my friend, and I enjoy
Yeah.
her company.
Josh is my friend, and I enjoy their company. We're both.
Sense of love.
We're both genderqueer. It's like in the culture
Yeah,
to yap endlessly
exactly.
about garbage.
Sorry, you just reminded me of a fucking certain TikTok. It's a good
Anyway.
TikTok. I'll get that fucking TikTok.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
believe you.
It's for afterwards. Good tier list.
Yeah.
Gaming's an interesting time. It's a very personal experience, although we also treated this kind of objectively in a sense, in as much as it exists. But I mean,
Yeah.
objectively, the Game Gear was a fucking battery machine. That thing slurped those cunts up.
Don't ever say those words in that order around me ever again.
I love the Wii U. We rated the Wii U too low. That's it. That's all I have to say. Thanks for
Okay.
watching.
Yeah, subscriber will fuck your dad.